Welcome, my friends, on the BEL channel to the podcast. We're bringing it back. This is like season 2 or something, we'll call it. We're starting the series off with my friend Tommy Graves, who is a hip-hop artist, a writer, a songwriter, a creator, content creator, fantastic gentleman. I've got a handful of artists lined up for over the next couple of months. And if you or if anyone that you know would like to be a part of it, please hit me up. My contact information's all over my YouTube channel, my Instagram. You can come find me. I just want to share. I just want to hang out. I just want to share. Any of the proceeds that come from this episode will be donated directly to Tommy Graves, and I'm not going to take anything off the top. I'm just excited to be here and hang out with my friends. The YouTube channel does what it's supposed to do. But if you guys do want to support our artist today, you can find him on any of the links in the description box, and they'll play during the podcast as well. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy.
We're good. It's just me. I'm nervous around you.
I won't look.
I just got a new tattoo of this sweet bird. Anyways.
Once more, tell I'm not stuck, same old bullshit. Got me putting up with, tell me who you fuck with, kill my reputation. I've been getting upset, screaming from the basement, jumping out the pavement, screaming from the front row. Tell me if I make it, tell me if you follow. I've been getting upset, feel a little nauseous now. I need space, Apollo. Tell me why and who you follow. Need to bother someone else if you think that's a pill to swallow. Please don't talk or what you call it. I'm not.
So what's up, boys? How we doing? How we all feeling?
Buddy. Good.
We silently cheers, but I would like to say officially cheers. Tommy, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Man. Thanks for being on. We've been away for a little bit here, so
This is the return. This is the kickoff.
Yeah.
Celebrating 25,000 subs on the BEL channel.
oh wow,
That's huge, man.
Love that. The
Congratulations.
last podcast, I think we had
buddy.
1,500. My friends, Tommy, Dave, I'm glad you guys could be here. And we're celebrating, man. Tommy just had a big
Absolutely.
release, which we're going to get into. But why don't you take a moment, man, introduce yourself to Dave, introduce yourself to my audience here.
Yeah, so my name is Thomas Graves. I go by Tommy Graves, just as my musician name. I've been making music seriously for, 2-3 years here, but just definitely within like the last 6 months, I've been buckling down, working on a bunch of different projects. My dad's been a musician his whole life, so that's kind of where that started. Always music in the home. Like he plays guitar, piano, saxophone. My brother, big musician as well. So like we grew up in a climate where there was just constantly music going. And then I drifted more towards like the writing side of things, writing poetry when I was younger. And then eventually that just like evolved into like a deep love for like hip hop music. And then, just like the more you play around with that sort of thing, the deeper it goes, I suppose. And just kept at it. And, as of recently, I've been having pretty decent success just with the connections I'm making and, like just accumulating a small fan base and things like that. And it's been really cool. It's been really fun to just, see out the whole process because it's something I've been doing forever. So.
Well, cool. How long have you been like kind of seriously at it, like trying to make this the real thing?
So I'd say like the realest it's ever been has been probably the past 6 months, honestly. But
Okay.
I've been like my first official song I dropped like my first year out of university, I think. It was called Every Other Time. And that would have been 2020, 2019, maybe.
Okay,
I'd have to double check. But
sure.
and I like from there it was just like kind of learning the basics, right? Like how to record, getting comfortable with my voice, like exploring my writing a little bit more, things like that. And from there, it just like continued to progress. But I would say like the most serious it's ever been has been like for sure the last 6 months. Like especially towards the end of this year, it's like I think I've really found my voice and I've really found a style of music that I think a good group of people can gravitate towards. So like now is the most excited I've ever been to continue to pursue this, I suppose.
That's awesome. And you were saying that you have you're going to release a song every how often?
Yeah, so every 3 weeks is the aim. I'm giving myself a little bit of wiggle room, right? 3 to 4 weeks. I think like just especially the kind of direction things are heading, it's like super important to be consistent. Music is obviously super saturated. There's no tiptoeing around it. And if you want to be recognized on like any form of level, you need to like consistently put out art. Yeah. Right. And it's like I was at the point where I was like making songs. I would drop like one Instagram post about it, and I'd fucking make a song 6 months later. And I'm amazed that I managed to accrue even 1,000, even 2,000 listeners from something like that. Because I just like I had no desire to put myself out there or to promote myself. But last little bit I've just kind of hit this turning point where it's like, oh, like it just makes sense. Like if I want people to see my stuff, I have to, one, make more stuff, and two, put it out there, right? I can't expect it to just pop from single posts. So that's the direction that's been heading, and I've gotten a bit more ambitious with like the type of people I've been approaching, and just that sort of thing. Just being like a little bit more vocal about like who I am, what I'm about, just like buckling down, making content. So yeah.
Nice.
How has like the climate of today's kind of world helped with that? So like what I mean by that is like you can find people on Instagram, you can find people on YouTube. So and you say you're reaching out to people, you're making strides.
Being able to market.
Like, so how is that?
So,
tell me about it.
So I'd say it's like for me personally, and again, it's like I'm pretty new to the whole like pushing yourself thing, like the whole like putting content out and like sharing it with people. But for me, it's pretty interesting because like we're at a time where there are people out there that have built followings and niches like in music related areas, like very, very similar to yourself, right? And those people are looking for like genuine, authentic music from like talented individuals, or from, you know, just like whatever they can find that are like from people that are like passionate about the craft. And like if you can find those people, they're more than happy to help you promote your stuff, and like you'd be very surprised like the actual impact it can have, right? So, you know, like there's people that make like playlists, and there's people that will do like reaction videos, and there's people that post TikToks and reels. And if you can find those people and be like, hey, like my name's Tommy, I make like this type of music, I would really appreciate it if you check it out, and if you like it, you know, throw it on a playlist, throw on this or that. And like you'd be surprised like how many people are like, damn, like this is really good, I'll for sure give it placement. And then it just gives you access to like a larger chunk of people, and you know, you just go from there.
So you're just sending messages out, just kind of like, hey, you know,
hitting up,
been checking out your stuff.
That's like some of it. Like it's for sure targeted in like in that respect. I'd say like the bigger side of things is actually like producing and like making content. You know,
sure,
and that's something I'm newer to, and so that's like where the broader audience is gonna come from.
Mm-hmm.
And again, something I'm like quite new to, so it's not like I have videos that are like popping off, but it's like I feel like right now I have like the infrastructure in place to like to see the merit of it, right? Because like I feel like anyone can just like post something and get lucky. But if you don't have stuff like behind it, like what do you do, right? If you have no content to steer people towards, or like no catalog, like you won't keep that person as a listener or as a fan. So I feel like I'm at the point now where like I'm lucky enough to, or not lucky enough, but I've built up a catalog, and I've built up a sound, and I'm like happy with where I'm at. So it's like if someone does find my like my content or my music, I have a much better chance of like obtaining that person as a fan, as a listener, opposed to you know, just being like a flash in the pan, so to speak.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's funny because everything that you're saying right now, and you're absolutely right about this, Jesse. We were talking earlier. What you're doing, you're a couple of steps ahead of what I'm starting, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like when you're talking like what you've been doing in the last 6 months, I've been recording and putting stuff together, right?
Yep.
And
it's really good, by the way. I'll send you something. I'll send you something.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to hear it.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. If it might be your thing, it might not. But either way, I'm kind of looking at doing what you're doing, and just hearing your experience with this is very interesting to me, because I've been looking into this myself, and you know, kind of doing some research, right? You know, okay, how do you do this in today's modern world? Right? This is very different than you know, even when I started like playing in bands, you know, back, you know,
late 90s.
In the late 90s, like honestly,
no, I agree with you, man.
Different world.
It's a completely different climate. Yeah. I think like the other thing too is this is like the one thing that's like tough with something like this, is it is a little bit tough because like there's people that are phenomenal musicians and they don't want to be influencers, right? Like they don't want to be someone that's like making this content. So it's like there's more opportunity that there's ever been if like you're willing to like buckle down and like do things like that. Mm-hmm. But like not everyone is that type of person. Not everyone wants to be in front of a camera and like making skits or like putting videos together and like doing the editing and like this and that. But I mean, like it's like an opportunity that's there, and if you're willing to do that, it can pay off, right? Mm-hmm. And like this is where I'm coming from. This is like I still see the potential in it. I'm like so the 6 months thing is like within like for making music, that's like a little bit more my sound. But in terms of like promoting on socials and like putting out consistent content, it's been like sub 2 months, right? So I haven't had anything like pop off ridiculously. I have videos that range from like 200 to 900 views, but it's like the infrastructure is there. I have become accustomed to making consistent content. So for me, it's like it's not that I don't care, but it's like this is what I'm doing. Even if nothing happens, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah,
And even on like a very small level, you do see like the merit to it. You know, you get like handfuls of people, 5 people, 4 people, 6 people every post that are just like new listeners, and it's like a pretty small scale. But I mean, you're just playing numbers, you're just keeping after it, and it's like hopefully eventually something pops, and then you have like a very large influx of people. And that's like from what I've heard and from like stories I've listened to of other people doing like the similar things. That's what happens. You have videos that like don't do well, don't do amazing, whatever, and then eventually something just clicks, and then
Yeah.
and the more you do, the more you learn too. So
if you don't upload it, people can't watch it.
yeah, of course, more swings at the bat, right?
Well,
It's the same with releasing music.
There's an old marketing saying that says like good content in the closet doesn't do good. Bad content out in the culture with the people will do better than good content in the closet. Right?
Well,
Yeah, definitely.
that's very true. And I mean, honestly, yeah, like this is inside stuff here. This is Jesse being like, man,
I'm poking
finish
the bear
up
a little bit.
Stop remixing your music and just release it, because I've been remixing endlessly. So it's I've fallen into that trap.
Yeah,
right.
the one thing I could say on like that regard too is like it's very easy, especially when you're making something you like really care about, to you don't want every last detail to be perfect. But man, like with the climate of stuff, there's videos that have been like recorded on people's. Can I cuss? Is it okay if I cuss?
Oh,
about it.
yeah. Go for it.
There's videos that are like recorded, like quite literally recorded on people's fucking phones that will like pop off. They will take like the notes, upload it to like an MP3, send it through to the distributor, and like that song will get 1 million streams, right? So like the minute differences, it's important to have like a love for the craft and like a technical ability and like know what you like, but to a certain point it starts to harm you at a certain point, right? Because it's like people don't care nearly as much as you do, and it's like you could release something that has all these like flaws that are so obvious to you, but like if people like the song on like a broader level, most people don't look at the song as a musician, right? They look at the song as like just this thing. So
it's amazing.
It's
like,
weird.
I know this in my mind,
You
but
can
I
coach it.
I could coach it to
You can't
somebody
let it
else,
go.
but it's like my problem. I'm
No,
just
it's
letting
hard.
go of my
I agree.
baby and putting it out there in the world. You know what I mean? Like that's
I'm right there with you. It's kind of like it's like this weird line in the sand, right? Like you want to make content that's like authentic and good to you, and like part of that is being meticulous about the details.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it's stopping, like if you have a group of people that like your stuff, and it's stopping you from putting out like said stuff,
I know. It's
done is better than perfect. Done is better than perfect.
That's a good. I like
That's gonna
that.
be the name of this podcast today.
That's not mine, man. That's not my quote, but it is.
None of these are gonna be my quotes.
Fair enough,
Yeah.
but that's the first time I've heard
I'll
that
drink to
particular
my
one.
friends.
Yeah.
I will also drink to that.
Yeah, me
That was a good
too.
one.
Might as well.
So you're a book
Might as
reader?
well.
You're very well articulated. You speak very well. You present
Thank
yourself
you.
very well. What's going on here?
With what?
You read books? What do? You watch?
I can't read her. I can't read her right.
You got that book learning.
I don't know, man. Like, yeah, I don't learn so good. Like I've always been big into that sort of thing. Like stemming back to like when I was like a little kid, it's something as little as your parents reading to you every night. I had like had a deep fascination with literature growing up, and it's like something I've like fell out with in recent times, but like in my opinion it's just taken different shapes and forms, right? It's all just I've always loved just like consuming media and writing, and I like I said, I used to like write poetry, and just like creating, like seeing something in your head and having it come to life is such an incredible feeling. So I don't know, like I do like pride myself on like my ability to write, and like I think I'm like a relatively well-rounded guy, and I'm articulate and things like that. And I just, I would be those things without music, and I just, let that carry into the stuff I make as well. So
Leads into your music.
yeah,
Nice.
No, I appreciate that.
I'll use that. So I'm gonna go in a kind of an order here. So
Sure, yeah.
Apollo to start with.
Yeah.
Tell me about it, man. It's a very, very visual song for me.
Yeah.
It's a very, very visual. I feel like I'm like in this moment with you and like in this storyboard, and I can see the whole thing. So I'd love to hear what your take is on this one.
Yeah, no, I'd love to talk about it. So are you familiar with like I think like you and I, Jesse, met through Calum, like just like a mutual friend. And I think when Calum had first talked about you, he had said that you had really liked Every Other Time. Do you remember that song at all?
I think so.
It's
Was that one of the
basically
ones? Or is it one of yours?
yes, it's like my what is the first song I ever dropped, and it's basically a song about how like people can basically like fuck off telling me like what to do with my life, right? It's like I've
Nice.
like, there's a line
Feel that.
there's a line in the song that's like it's like I could always see you teaching history, appreciate the insight, but it's not for me. Because I've like had people in my family be like, oh, you'd be a good teacher. I could see you being a teacher. So for me, like, so, don't worry, I'm making a drawback to this. Apollo for me is like sorry, just to double back one more time. Every Other Time was like the first song I ever dropped. So it was like very raw. There's like flaws with it that I see, but I liked it. Like the sentiment was there, the message was there. But Apollo is Every Other Time if I knew like what I was doing. You know what I mean? Like if I knew how to write music a little bit better, if I knew how to like layer my stuff a bit better, if I knew how to like write in a little bit more abstract sense, that's like what Apollo is to me. So it's kind of the same song where it's like, hey, like please don't fucking tell me what to do with my life, but it's not like I'm hitting you over the head with it, right? So like the idea of like, oh, like I need space Apollo is like, hey, please give me a little bit of distance. Like I'm okay where I'm at. Like I'm currently doing quite well. Like you don't need to, encroach on my space. So that's kind of like one of the overarching themes of the song for me. Other than that, I just like caught a melody, caught a vibe with the instrumental, and just like really just kind of felt it out, and just let it progress. Like it was one of those songs that I wrote in like fucking 15 20 minutes and
wow, really
laid it down. Yeah, man. Like
bro, I love this song.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
I've listened to this song every day since we booked this.
Oh, you're gonna make me cry, man. That's like actually means like a lot to me, because it's very cool to see something like you have made. Like it could be one person, it could be 10 people, like have that level of connection. Like if that's the case, like then it's worth it for me, right? Like that's why I like making music. So it's like to hear you say that, like it actually, it means a ton. So thank you.
Oh, I'm glad, man. I'm glad. I got a couple lines that I'm really interested in. One of them is, and I'm not gonna like try to like spit this back because I don't know how.
Yeah,
but you reference a line, or you say, "Please don't let them call you stupid," and I'm curious where that came from.
Yeah, I gotta think. There's a build up to it. So it's like, what does it say?
Can I give you a platform? Can I start there?
Yeah.
So I have a rule in my house. We don't use words like stupid. You're not allowed to call me dumb. You're not allowed to call yourself dumb. More importantly, you're not allowed to say you did something dumb. Like you can't come into my house and like break something and be like, "Oh, stupid me." I will stop you. I'll say, "No. You made an accident."
Yeah.
So,
okay.
So when I heard that, when it's like, please don't let them call you stupid, it's like I won't let none of y'all call me stupid, and I also won't let myself call myself stupid. And it comes.
Yeah. So that's like kind of the base for it. And thank you for the platform there, because I'm struggling to remember the lyrics. But the lyrics are like, pick your poison, pick delusion, pick like anything you like, but please don't let them call you stupid. Yep. So like for me, that line kind of circling back to the major theme there, right? It's like I'm picking my poison here by like wanting to be a musician. Like amongst like other things, right? So it's like that's kind of like the delusion side of things, when people outside looking in are quick to look at someone pursuing music and be like, holy fuck, like what's this guy doing, right? So it's like that's me picking my poison. I'm picking delusion, right? So it's like you can do whatever you want. I'm picking delusion, and then it's just like about me kind of progressing that way, right? I'm picking whatever I want, but like I'm not gonna let people call me stupid, essentially. Like I know what I'm doing. I'm well spoken, I'm intelligent, I'm articulate. I have like a goal and I have a path, and it's like no matter how many people, and like this isn't something like that I like deal with a lot. I don't have a lot of people like picking at me being like, oh, like you're fucking dumb, like not like anymore, right? But like at the start of it, like when you first get into music and you say it's something you want to pursue, people are very like heavy-handed with the way they approach it, man.
Yep.
So I'm thankful enough that I'm like sorry to cut you off there, buddy. I'm thankful enough that I'm surrounded by like overwhelmingly like supportive people, and I've definitely done a bit of curating with like, you know, just the people in my life and the circle around me and the friends I keep, because it's like I'm surrounded with people that are like, dude, like you've got so much potential for this, keep fucking going. And like that's what I want to hear, man, because this is what I care about. And it's not like they're yes man, just like blatantly lying to me, but it's people whose opinions I value, who will always be truthful with me. And it's not people that are just going to blatantly write it off because it's maybe you know, maybe a larger goal than they could see X person accomplishing. So that line to me is just like, just to, you know, circle back one final time, that line to me is basically just me just kind of establishing myself and being like, hey, I'm doing this. Like, I'm not going to let you think one way, or you can think whatever you want of me, but it's like, I'm not going to let your interpretation of what I'm doing affect me. I don't think I'm stupid. You know, I'm not going to let you call me stupid.
You're not going to let that limiting mindset that somebody else has drag you down to prevent you.
No, that's 100% it.
Going to do.
Yeah. The one other thing is like, when I'm kind of just remembering this now, because like I said, I wrote it very quickly, so it's like a lot of this stuff is like subconscious that you kind of like, even after the fact, you just have to dissect it. Like, it's very strange. Like, I'll write something and then once in a while like look back at it and it's like, oh, like what did I mean by that? And then it's like you get it afterwards, but it's like you're just in such a flow state that it just comes, right? But the other thing that I did mean with that line is like it pertained to the people around me too, because I surround myself with like very, very good people who have like what some people might call like lofty ambitions, but it's like they're driven and hyper intelligent, motivated people, you know? And like that line's for them too. Like, don't, you know, that line's for anybody, man. Like, don't let them call you stupid. Like, yeah,
it's important, man. The way you treat yourself, the way you handle yourself, and it translates to the way that people handle you and treat you.
Yeah, I agree completely.
And I mean, the thing is too, it's like, and I've had to learn this over years and years and years now, and there are certain people in the world that just, they don't want to see you succeed because it reflects their
lack of
like
fuck them.
Well,
fuck
absolutely. I mean, fuck them. Like, you do have to take them out of your life to some degree, right? But it reflects on them, like the fact that they didn't try.
100%. Yeah, right? You're completely right.
They don't like that because it's putting the mirror. It's like it's looking and saying, oh, okay, you're trying this thing and you're doing that. You have this lofty goal. You know, I had dreams once, but I didn't follow them. So, I mean, you're
not allowed to either.
You're not allowed to either. I don't want to
people like in a sense like living vicariously through you, but like they don't want to see you do well, right?
Yeah.
And have you ever heard like there's an analogy? It's like the crab in the. I talk about this a lot, but like, have you heard the crab in the bucket analogy before?
Lay it on us.
Okay, so if imagine you're a fisherman, man. Imagine you're a fucking fisherman. You're chilling, you're catching some crabs. You got a big bucket full of crabs, and you take this big fucking bucket of crabs. You pick this big bucket of crabs and you plop it on the dock in front of you. And someone walks by and they go, "Holy fuck! Like, why isn't there a lid on that thing? The crabs are gonna crawl out." And then they look into the bucket, and anytime a crab tries to fucking crawl his dumb little ass out of the bucket, the other crabs rip them back down to the bottom. And that is like to a T. That's why I talk about it so much, man. It's like that is to a T what it is like surrounding yourself with people, even on like a broader scale, like even having these people in your socials, like interacting with on any level, you know what I mean? On any level that gets to you. Like, those people are crabs and they want to keep you in the fucking bucket.
Keep you down, bro.
They want to bring you down. I mean,
I don't want to live in the, I don't know about you guys, man, but like, I don't want to be in the bucket.
In the bucket. So. No.
Who wrote that song, Crabs in the Bucket? Was that Chaos? I worked with Chaos at the university once. I mixed Chaos once. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
There's a little throwback.
Chaos. Oh man, that's back when.
Bucket. You know that song?
Yeah. No, that was like when I was in high school.
Maybe I do.
Yeah, that's like late '90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, that was a big throwback. We got them cheap at the university.
Did
so,
yeah. Oh, okay,
that's super cool. It's cool to get experiences like that. I think everything is just about learning and moving forward, and that's like such an incredible way to do that. So.
Life is just an accumulation of experiences, right?
Yeah,
like putting your record out.
It's
right,
coming.
Tommy?
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen soon.
Getting bit by a crab.
So we didn't do this yet though, but like where can we find Tommy Graves music?
Oh man, okay. I don't use Twitter because I think it's a drain.
Twitter,
it's a drain on me. I'll get it one day. Probably should have it. But Instagram is Tommy X Graves. So that's like, it's just my name, right? My name is Thomas Graves. So
Okay.
Tommy Graves, just what people call me. So TOMMYX Graves, GRAVES. That's the big one. And then Tommy Graves Music on basically everything else. So
Apple
but
Music,
Nice.
Spotify.
oh yeah, Apple and Spotify
Then
will
on
just be
YouTube.
Tommy Graves. Pardon me.
Tommy
Sorry, I
Graves,
should have reiterated that. But yeah, like if you just search up Tommy Graves on a lot of stuff, it comes up. So
Yeah.
that's me, man.
Yep.
That's me.
There is a line in Apollo where you say, "Fuck your friends, get new ones."
Yeah, fuck your friends need new
Oh,
ones,
man.
man.
Like, yeah,
It's
like,
true,
that's-
It's like a little ad lib in the background. It's
And it's
right
also-
after that, actually. It's right
yeah.
after that line we were talking about. It says, "Pick your poison, pick delusion." Oh no, never mind. It's not. But it's like it's shortly after that.
Yeah, no, it's right
just
there.
in the
It's
background.
the next hook. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, I'm
You're
just
good.
confusing myself now. But yeah, it just says "fuck your friends need new ones" because that's the same thing, man. It's like you don't want crabs in your life. You don't want
you
people
don't want them holding
yanking
you
you
down.
down.
Yeah, man.
There's one other image that really stood out to me in that song. And it was I can't remember the exact words. If you'd like to share a cab, it'd mean a lot to me.
Oh yeah, just talk to me. Got a cab we can catch if you're offering.
Yeah,
Talk
that's
to
it.
me.
That's it. So I worked
Yeah.
when I was cutting my teeth as an audio engineer, like the whole background of my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I was the excuse me, I was the house guy at a bar called Average Joe's.
Yes,
And
yes.
often for like over the 10-year span, bro, I would split cabs with the waitresses all the time. I had my own vehicle. I just wanted the conversation, bro. And I could care less if they were attractive or arguably not attractive, whatever. None of that mattered. I just wanted the conversation. So like
Sure,
that,
yeah.
like the symmetry of that freaked me out almost. Because like I've been sober taking cabs with people that I'm not trying to go home with just because I like the conversation and I just want the friendship and the, you know what I mean, the realness at that
Yeah.
point, right?
There is something to that. Absolutely.
So that was another line that stood out.
Absolutely.
That's kind of like on the nose there too. Like that's what that line is about. Like picture how many times you've been like, I mean, this isn't like me specifically, but like picture how many times you've been like out with people and there's like two people that just like, you know, often a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, that just like start fucking fighting with each other and like dip away from the group. That's like a universal experience, right? Like that's like something.
I've been that person.
been
yeah.
that-
So, like,
I've
that,
absolutely relationship, but I've been that person.
Yeah.
that line is like almost like that kind of like that feeling you get from like fighting with somebody you care about. Like that's like kind of what that line is to me. You know, it's like just talk to me. Let's like take a step back. We can get out of here. Fucking whatever. Like this does like this thing doesn't matter. This is more important. Like that level of connection and those conversations. Like yeah, that's for sure what that line is. Is just, you know, like talk to me. Well, we can get a cab. We can dip. Whatever.
It doesn't matter. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. I don't care what the
Just talk
conversation
to
is.
me.
It's a good conversation.
Yeah.
You know. No, I like that. So like, what does that song mean to you? Both in like on the release side as an artist and as like you wrote it in like really quick, but it sounds like you've got lots to pull
Yeah.
from.
Oh, so I write a lot, man. I like I've been writing like I had like my parents got me like this journal book when I was like in 3rd, 4th grade, and I filled that sucker up. And like I've always loved to write. Like it started with the poetry, as I'd mentioned before, but like I've just always loved to write. And when it evolved to music, like the notes app on my phone, man, is like there's novels
Best
in
friend.
there. Like I write so much, so often. So like when I hit my stride with a song, like if I hear a beat or I, you know, have a melody, like I'll record it just like in my notes app or my voice notes just to like remind myself later basically. But like for me, I don't know how it is for other artists. Like I've talked to some people that are the same way. But like when I feel something that like when I'm like, oh, I really, really like this, and it just like clicks, it doesn't take very long, man. Like it'll just kind of pour out of me, and it's almost like I'm just, you know, like I'm pulling from source almost. Like it's just coming from somewhere else, you know.
You're in your
But,
flow state, right?
Flow state.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna
exactly.
say,
So
yeah,
that's
it's the flow
like
state.
that side of things. So that's like that was like very cool for Apollo because it was like one of those moments, right, where I was just like in my zone, really liking what I was writing. In terms of the release side of things, Apollo is like the first song to me that feels full. I really like my other music. I really like kind of I like what it was an indicator of. Like I feel like if you looked at my other songs and you looked at like maybe like my voice or my flow or like my lyricism, I feel like it's maybe an indicator of things to come, or was an indicator of things to come. So I still like those songs a lot, even though some of them are like a few years old, 3 years old.
They're cuts, right?
But, exactly. But like Apollo was the first song that I put out that I was like, okay, like this is like if someone were to be like, oh, like, you know, Tommy Graves type sound, whatever. Like that was the first song I put out that was like, this is like very, very authentically me, and this is very, I deviated a bit from like the more like straight hip hop rap, and I was like singing, and the structure was full. There were hooks, there's choruses, there's pre-chorus, there's just like the whole song. It just felt like it felt like the first song that I had developed like properly, and that had developed into the type of musician I wanted to be. So dropping that song, I was super, super happy with it, man. I still am super proud of it. It's only like a month and a bit old. It's, performing decently well. Like it could have 1 stream, man. That song could have 10 streams and I'd still love it. Like I loved making it. I loved putting it out. And I'm like so happy that I, like you saying like you like the song and connect with it and have been listening to it a lot. Like I was telling you before we started, like I just had a buddy text me being like, dude, this is in my like top 5 songs right now. And like I had a couple of my really good friends that I had mentioned that were doing a travel nurse contract in Newfoundland. And like, of course, like I finished music and I sent it to my friends, right? Like before it's out, and like they were bumping the demos, man, and like they were like showing people, and it's like that level of support. Like that's the people in my network now, man. Is like people that like genuinely love me, man. They love what I'm doing, and
that's awesome.
So that whole release was just like extremely cathartic for me. Like it was the first time where I was like, damn, like I'm like, even though I hope there's lots to come. Like for right now, I'm exactly where I want to be. And I'm excited to be taking these first few steps. So
and I think that's like the difference. If you're creating art, music, whatever, if it's something that really speaks to you personally, I think that translates in a certain way to other people.
100%.
Yeah. You know what I mean? If you really feel the thing that you've done and you've like poured yourself into it, and it's like, you have a pride and you have, this feeling about it. It's like that other people pick up on. Yeah, it's authentic.
It's authenticity, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly. You're not making that up. That's like you do it for you, and if and other people like it and they love it. It's
like this. The thing with me. Sorry, but I get on trains.
Don't apologize.
Do it.
It's harder to with like the extra half-second delay. But like when I care about something, and when I make something like that, like it's I kind of lost my train. Rats.
It's just talking
what
about.
What are we talking about?
You're talking about like when you create something and you are feeling it so much that it translates to other people, and they can pick up on that because it has that.
I remember now. I was just gonna say like just basically what you're saying there, like, but just kind of in a different view, like. I love making music, man. I love writing. I love seeing people enjoy stuff that I make. Like no word of a lie, I would be doing this if nobody was listening. Like this is what I love to do. This is what I care about. Like having people connect to it obviously is like a huge part of it. And it's like incredibly cool to see people be like, dude, like I've been listening to this all the time. This really resonates with me. I really like this. And like being able to do stuff like this where I come in and talk about it. But like at the end of the day, this is something that I was like in 4th grade prepping for, writing music, coming up with little melodies. Like I would be doing this if nobody was listening. And like, I think that's kind of the authentic side.
That's the thing about it.
You have so many people dropping music, man, that's like there's a lot of people that like I think they want to be like musicians as it's like seen in the public eye. They want the clothes, the house, the girls, whatever, but they don't actually give a fuck about like what they're doing. And I think that's like super easy to see too.
Oh man.
So like I don't know. Like I think even just from this conversation, right? Like even just from this conversation, like I think it's very, very evident that like the 3 of us really care about this type of stuff.
Absolutely.
Right? Like we wouldn't like the conversation would be like so much more surface level if I was just out there making songs like, oh yeah, well the line about splitting the cab was because like I didn't have enough money to pay for my own.
Someone told me this once, and that's
Or I actually just want to be able to buy a watch and like LV clothes. Like, do you know what I mean? Like that's not what it's about. Like this is something I would be doing if I was making. Well, if I was making $0 off it, if I had 0 listeners, everything else is just a bonus.
Dude, that speaks
I'm super grateful. I'm super grateful for that.
That speaks to me. Like I don't know. I have this like sort of saying mantra thing that's in my head at this. If you can get paid to do something you would otherwise do for free, because you love it, then you are winning.
That's the goal, man.
Right? That's the thing. Like if you can turn your passion into a source of income that you can you can live and thrive off of.
Right?
Like that,
Done well, man.
that is winning. That is really
100%
winning at
agree.
life,
The
because
thing is-
then you've got it, you know.
Do you want to hear something pretty cool?
Yep.
This, I mean, it won't be for a bit, but with how well Sunburn is performing, I'm on track. Like, I have like a little checklist of things that I want to do with music. I'm on track within the next little bit to be able to pay a month of rent with streaming income.
Nice.
Which is like not
Absolutely.
dude, like that's not something that has ever been even like remotely close to possible before. But with Sunburn and like the exposure it got because of Skizzy, like it's not a lot of money, man, but like it's
money though.
it's crazy, man.
It's
Like
a
it makes me
start.
so happy to think that like you know, I don't know.
Starting point, right?
So
Like,
let's talk about Sunburn, man. Let's talk about it.
Sure.
Tell me about it. How did it start? Where did it come from?
Oh man, Sunburn has been like a really long grind for me. So about a year and a bit ago, I started doing these just like very, very briefly, I started doing these bits of content where it was like 16 bars over like instrumentals that I really liked as a kid. So I think in total I did like Diablo by Mac Miller. I did Juice by Chance the Rapper. I did Pay For You by Jeezy and Skizzy Mars. And then I did another Mac Miller one. I can't remember. It was a while ago. But what I would do, which, you know, I thought I was pretty smart for doing it. I would get the people watching the content to tag the artists in like the artists whose songs I was like remixing, whatever, in the post. So when I did G-Eazy and Skizzy Mars, like a lot of people tagged Skizzy Mars and he saw it actually. And he liked the video and I ended up reaching out to him. And me reaching out via DM just basically turned into like a year-long exchange of, you know, back and forth and developing at least like some level of a relationship. And he gave me his phone number at some point. And I sent him over like an instrumental that I really liked, and that was Sunburn. And he did a little verse on it, and fuck, man, it got put on like on release radar to people that like his music, and it.
Oh, really?
You know, it's blowing all my other songs. Like just for context, like Apollo, I'm really happy with Apollo. I'm really happy with like the organic growth it's done. It's only been out for like a month. It's got like 2,000 streams. Whatever. Like,
Most of them are me. Most of them are me.
Yeah. Like, you know, I'm really happy with the song. Like, I see potential for growth with it. I'm by no means like disappointed in it. I didn't do like any playlist pushes, anything. That's like 100% organic. Sunburn did 10,000 streams in its first day.
Wow.
And or like in its first like real day with like release radar. Right?
Yeah.
And it's like the carryover with it has been nuts. So that to me has been like affirmation too, because it's been like if people see it, they will like it, right? It's just a matter of me finding those people to see it.
Finding the audience.
So it's like when I drop something, and that's like that. Honestly, that's where it all comes back to like the organic content and stuff. Is like because like here's a song that I made that I really like. I'm happy with it, and people like in my immediate circle or people that like my listeners, they like it. And if I can like push that to other people and get enough eyes on it, they like it too. So it's just like a matter of like finding ways to get it in front of different people. Because like I'm confident, like I think if Apollo was shown to 100,000 people, there's no way like a chunk of them wouldn't be like, damn, like I like
a
this
certain
song.
percentage, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
So it just comes down to that.
It's playing on the numbers at a certain
100%,
point. Right?
100%.
If you can get it in front of enough people worldwide, wherever.
Yeah.
Eventually, you're gonna find people.
You do it with a shit song, which is the depressing part, right? It's like that's things with like labels, man. Like labels can have like plants and shit like that, industry plants. You can have a song that's like not great, and they can just like throw money at it, get like 100 influencers to post like a little video with it, and it's like that song has 1 million streams all of a sudden. Is it good?
They find the audience.
Probably not. Yeah, exactly. But like I mean, it's both a good and a bad thing. But that's where like when I saw it was on release radar and like hit a couple like Spotify algorithmic and like people were like, like when it was getting access to the bigger audience and people were like adding it to their playlists and stuff, that's when I was like, okay, like this is good. Like this is really good.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna try and continue to pursue that approach, keep releasing music, keep making content, just try and get more eyes on my stuff.
I mean, that's where things are so different. Like we were saying earlier, when I was kind of coming up in this world of things, back in the day,
CDs and tapes out.
Like when you talk about the amount of control that like a label or something would have, like it was far more back in the day.
Right.
The gatekeeping, like to get through to an A&R guy or somebody, like it wasn't like today where like you have the
They're
platform,
looking for you.
you can put the stuff
You're
out
right.
there,
You're
and
100% right.
right, and it's just so awesome to see that. I mean, honestly, like there are some things that might have been better back in the day, but there are so many things now that as an artist you have the ability to get out there and
I completely agree. Yeah.
and
You're
get
right.
your stuff out there in
Get
front
your
of
bit.
so
I
many
think,
people
I think
worldwide.
dude, you're fucking nail on the head there. Like you're 100% right. I think the only drawback, and it's like one that I can definitely live with, is like when you're talking about like the days of like handing out demos and things like that.
Yeah.
Like barrier to entry to making music was like quite a bit higher, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like sure, like you could fucking go make a shitty song, but I mean, it probably wouldn't. It probably
Nobody's gonna hear it.
And it would be expensive to do and all
If you
that.
could do it,
So
yeah.
it's like music was like less saturated, I feel like, in the days of like demos and things like that. I prefer where we're sitting now, where it's like anyone can like drop a song, pick up a song, get it with like a
But
distributor. right?
anybody can now.
Exactly. So like,
That's
that's
the
the.
sides,
But I
right?
think it's almost a good thing because music's oversaturated, but it makes the stuff that's like even just a little bit good stand up so much more because it's like it's like a little gold, little piece of gold in the sea of fucking piss and shit. Like
Right?
man, especially like dude, like local scenes. Like don't get me wrong, there's lots of phenomenal musicians in Calgary and Vancouver, that sort of thing. But it's like it's like 1 in every 5 people wants to be a musician, but they only want like the surface level stuff. So they just like record
No job.
and they drop it. Exactly.
They
just
don't want to
record
put
it,
the
drop
real
it.
work
They don't
into it.
They don't
that,
promo it. They don't try
Yeah.
to get it out. They don't do whatever. And then it's like, oh, I have like the 60th song this week that I've heard about like about how much Gucci I can wear, about like about how much of a car I drive, about how much women I sleep with. And it's like it's just so definitely oversaturated for sure.
very derivative.
But I mean, it does like help in a way, right? Because when people hear you, and they're like, "Oh my god, the 7th good musician in Calgary," like, like not. I mean, I try not to be too cocky with that stuff too, right? Because I mean, everyone's like growing and learning, and there are people that are like genuinely wanting to make a push for improvement. I just think there's also a lot of people that like don't actually give a fuck, and they're just like kind of tricking themselves into thinking they do.
Yep.
Well, I think it's just so much easier today to
It's accessible.
do whatever, right? Like,
It's
you
free
can
and
put things
accessible.
out, you can make it yourself. You don't have to necessarily go through the process of
like the quality barrier.
well,
You have
like
to
the
earn your keep.
refinement process of having to like deal with other people sometimes.
I gotcha.
And I don't know. Like, I mean, it's good and bad, right? As you can do everything on your own, but if you're doing everything on your own, maybe you don't
Where's the
necessarily get the input from other people
Yeah.
to say, "Hey, that was kind of shitty."
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
sure. Yeah,
Try
yeah,
hard,
box.
right?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So
Definitely.
just yeah.
Well, it's like think about like even like in the days of like demos, like how would you get a song on like I guess like a streaming platform wasn't a thing, but like how would you get a song? Like you wouldn't just get a song on the radio, right? So
Oh,
you'd be
shit,
you'd
no.
be handing out tapes. You'd be handing out like CDs and shit. Like your fan base would like literally be people that had physical copies of your music.
Oh
Yep.
man, that was
Yeah.
it, and it was all going out, and it was live shows, right? Like that was
Yeah,
the thing.
which
and
is
that was,
cool.
yeah,
which is
that's
super
why
cool.
live shows were such a big thing back in
Yeah.
the day. Like I kind of have this personal theory now that while the live show is amazing and it's awesome, and it has there's an experience of that unto itself, right? That you can't get from just listening to an album
Yeah.
or or a song or whatever, a video, anything. But I don't think it's as necessary as it once was, because back in the day, that was the only way that you could find those new people, right? You had to go to the town, you had to play the show,
For sure.
right?
You had to
and
show
and
your
you had to
shit off.
introduce it, and then you had
Oh,
to
yeah.
sell a few copies and get them out in that community. So
And that in itself is like a barrier to entry too, right? Like that helps to
Absolutely,
kind
right?
of curate that.
Right. So I
Yeah.
kind of have this theory now that, and I think this is the way things are going, in this digital world, where playing those shows is great if you can do it, but I don't necessarily even think that is like a prerequisite.
For sure. Yeah,
Being
no,
able
it's
to know
not it's not necessary, man. There's these guys, there's this guy named Connor Price, and he's like really big on TikTok. And he's like he's popped off doing just like a bunch of short form content. He's got like a couple million monthly listeners, and his content's really good, and his music's really good too. Like he's a very talented like he makes rap music, and he's phenomenal. He's a lyricist. His melodies are unbelievable. His production's very, very clean. He's never played a show.
and he's got like 2-3 million monthly listeners.
Okay,
that,
there you go. Yeah,
and that's okay. Like I've done 2 shows. Nothing crazy. I love it. There's so much fun.
So much
it's
fun.
such a good
There's
environment.
nothing like
but it's
playing
not.
live.
It's also not like you don't have to, right?
Yeah.
Like you can build yourself to this point without doing live shows now, which is different than I think it's been before. But
oh, it's very different, man. Like I come from the gigging metal band scene. You know what I mean? So like all you do is you try to go and play shows wherever you can play a show, because that's the only way people will see you.
You know what though?
I mean?
You'll appreciate this, and Tommy, I'm sure you'll appreciate this too. The like early 2000s metal scene is like the hip hop scene today, where you would like have multi-band like bills, nobody getting any money. Y'all just like working for the beer you're selling out of your own pocket, the tickets you're selling out of your own pocket.
I mean, I think
true.
The DIY
You know what I mean?
thing
Like,
is it's kind of a universal thing. Yeah.
I had like one experience like that. Like my first show was like that. Like just approached by some whatever that was like doing a show with like some other local acts, and it's basically like they just bought booze like for us and tickets and whatever the fuck. You got your little guest list. But the other show I did was with an artist that I'm actually, I would say we're friends at this point. His name is Mitchell Lawler, dude. My boy Mitchell Lawler. He's from Edmonton. He's a very good rapper. He's a very talented musician, and he was putting on he was doing a small Canadian tour. So like when he came to Calgary, he like got like a list of artists that he fucked with, and made like a proper lineup, and actually like made sure the artists were getting like paid properly. So that was very, very cool. Like I think usually it's like $5 a ticket you sell, and the ticket's like 20 whatever. But like I think that's like pretty standard for like what you're talking about, the paying for your beer type shit. Yeah. Where I think like Mitch, damn near close to doubled that. So it's cool. Like there are people like if you find doing their own thing, like Mitchell, like shout out Mitchell, man. Like there's ways to do it for sure, but it's definitely a bit more of a rarity than
well, and I mean. Yeah, like, and that's the thing. Once upon a time, that was a necessity, right? That you had to do that. Now, I don't think you have to rely on it so much. And obviously, like where you're saying you played, like 2 shows, is what you said.
No,
right. So, right. So, I mean, that's obviously not your bread and butter. Is kind of what I'm getting at, right? Like, because that's the way, like you had to make. That's the only way you could make money.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
really. Yeah, you know what I mean? It was kind of a different game. Like things were a little bit more locked up at a certain level, right?
Yeah.
Which is nice now, but like you're also saying, and you're absolutely right about this. There's so much saturation of the market, any market now, because anybody can do it. That there's also that to contend with.
That's good too, though, man, because it's like people that aren't really. It is, but it isn't, right? Because there's people that like there's people that don't really like I talked about before. There's people that like don't actually like fundamentally care, and they're just like in it for whatever. And those people will eventually stop or do what they'll do. But like the accessibility has allowed for so many more people to create like genuine art and stuff they care about. And that's cool in itself. Like when I talk about like when I talk about like making music, even if I had 10 people listening, like there's more of those people out there just because of how easy it is to make music. And if it's something you genuinely care about and you're super passionate about, I think that, I think the bar being lowered like in itself is a great thing, because you're giving these people who very clearly care about this thing an opportunity to do it.
It does level that playing ground a little bit, right? Whereas in years gone by, it wasn't an option. It wasn't a thing back in the day. You did it one way and that was it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like I just think art's like super important in general, right? And if you give like the people like a larger capability or stronger capability to like make art, that's a very cool thing to me.
Yeah. That's been my big thing to kind of like loop my channel back in. It's just like y'all got a voice, bro. You just gotta give it to everyone. Everyone's just gotta hear your voice.
Yeah, you've been a very good example of that, because you've just been getting out there and putting your stuff out and doing it, and it is growing and growing and growing.
The thing is I was talking to Tommy about this yesterday. It's like my channel and Tommy's channel will be very different. Mine is not original content, and I understand that. And then I'm not trying to compete with people who make their own content, make their own music. I'm trying to make a spread community where I can take people who make their own content and give them a little voice. Right.
Oh, but you're going to have your own music soon.
Yeah, I'm going to have my own music. I'm working on it. But nonetheless, it's this, like, I wanted to build a platform where I could share, and here I am sharing. Right.
Yeah.
And this is the kind of thing that I want to get after. And like, And to salute to Tommy, to salute to you, I wouldn't have included none of y'all in this if I didn't think y'all were authentic or organic.
Oh, well,
but I
thank you,
also
man.
probably wouldn't have this opportunity if it wasn't for the digital kind of world that we're in today.
Well, that's the whole thing.
We
is
literally
the
wouldn't be able
connection,
to do
right?
this if that wasn't popular.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I also want to just to one final thing just to add to that kind of talking point is like those things aren't mutually exclusive. You know what I mean? Like just because somebody else is doing well in a space and just because there's more competition because there's more people making good music.
Isn't bad necessarily.
Yeah. It also doesn't take how many musicians do you listen to? You know what I mean? And it's not like I'm going to be like, oh, I really like this new song that came out, so I'm not gonna listen to this guy.
It's not a zero-sum game. It's there's room for everyone, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
There's room for people. There's room for people that care about it to win, man. I genuinely believe that.
And honestly, if we all kind of work together in that respect, it's kind of the rising tide,
lifts
all boats or whatever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like if you build good communities, which I think is what this all kind of comes down to, right? The big thing with anything in life, as I'm learning, is
good communities, not big communities.
Well,
good
but like good communities, but you want them to grow. Is you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you build those communities, like that, you can work together to all rise together. You help each other, you promote each other, you do these things that encourage creativity in one another, and that ultimately leads to people feeling that they can do those things, moving those haters aside and moving those people they're going to try those crabs in the bucket, trying to pull you back down, like moving them and just getting that group of people that are all on that same train of thought, that same level. It just encourages more people to do more good things.
Yeah, man. And if you're making authentic content that you care about, you guys were just talking about basically quantity versus quality in terms of your audience. If you're consistently making content that is very, very authentic, you can have both. The type of people that are gravitating towards you are they're going to be vetted because people that don't give a shit about it aren't gonna pay attention.
Sure.
They're not gonna listen. So.
Yeah, and those aren't the people that you want around anyway.
Exactly.
At the end, really, they aren't. They're those fake transient people, and that's
they're the people that'll hop on. They're the people that'll hop on the bandwagon once it's already taken off.
Yep.
And they'll fucking leave snide little comments, but it doesn't.
They'll
matter.
jump off as soon as things.
I'll warn both of you all about that. You'll get to a certain point when people start messaging you back. Finally.
Yeah,
that's the weird thing where it's like, whoa, didn't I message you last? Now you're responding to me.
Yeah,
it's weird. It's a weird
that's
kind
funny.
of boat to be in,
Do you guys mind if I pour myself a drink?
No, I was just gonna ask you. Cool to do a quick bathroom and a drink quick.
Yeah.
Sure. I think this is going phenomenally so far.
Oh,
I'm
absolutely,
really enjoying
man.
chatting with you guys. So
yeah, man, you seem like a great dude. I love
Thank you. I
talking
really
with you.
appreciate that. You as well.
Yeah, let's take 5 here, man. Let's hang out.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool.
Whiskey on my nightstand, tell me what to do about it. Call me kinda crazy, I was hoping you went through without it. Hoping every line I ever crossed I drew a circle around it. Wishing I was off of something else, you chew a pill about it. And I could build a bridge for you, burn that motherfucker to the ground to see what that might do. And if it's getting old to you, keep it to yourself, nobody else could even bother you. I don't think I'm busy, honest, hurting from the inside. Keep it to myself, I try to talk, I keep it tongue-tied. Tell me I'm a good guy, I'll be waiting for you when the sun dies. When the sun dies, I'll be waiting for you when the sun dies. And if I'm off of something, fuck a Billy, it'd be closer to a bottle. Busy staring at the ceiling. I got one on my nightstand, tell me it's a problem. I got red stained hands and the pieces of the bottle. I got no damn plans, gotta keep it to the nuance. We sit tan for the day, but I'm fucking with the sunburn. Yeah, tan for the day, but I'm fucking with the sunburn.
Hey, come downstairs, I'm outside. Let's grab drinks around mine. These bitches taking these sound bites. I thank God every day that I found you. I swear I feel divine when I'm around you. The angels and the birds, they surround you. I beat it up and proceed to commence round 2. Hoping these city walls are soundproof, my God.
And I don't think I'm busy, honest, hurting from the inside. Keep it to myself, I try to talk, I keep it tongue-tied. Tell me I'm a good guy, I'll be waiting for you when the sun dies. When the sun dies, I'll be waiting for you when the sun does. And if I'm up for something, fuck a Billy, it'd be closer to a bottle. Busy staring at the ceiling. I got wine on my nightstand. Tell me it's a problem. I got red stained hands and the pieces of the bottle. I got no damn plans. Gotta keep it to the new ones. Miss a tan for the day, but I'm fucking with the sunburn. Tan for the day, but I'm fucking with the sunburn. Tan for the day, but I'm fucking with the sunburn.
I think you're muted.
Yeah, there we go. There we
Oh,
go.
perfect. Yeah, sorry, I said let the dog out.
No, that's good. What kind of dog you got?
Walter, come here. He's a little wiener dog. Come here,
Cute.
Walter.
I'm just blocking people on YouTube. I don't got time for it. If y'all aren't on the vibe, bro, I don't need your views. I don't need your fucking support.
Exactly, man. That's
What did you say? I'll build you a bridge and I'll burn it the fuck down.
Yeah.
I believe that was one of your lines.
Yeah, I said I could build a bridge for you, burn that motherfucker to the ground to see what
Oh,
that
bro.
would do. That's
You don't-
Walter.
Oh my goodness. Hi there, Walter. Welcome to the party.
He's a good little fella. Oh.
We're a big animal family in my on my YouTube page here.
Yeah, he's a cute little guy. He hangs
He's
out.
just a wiener dog, but there's a
Oh,
wiener.
I'll get him back. One sec here. Walter, come here. I got something for you. Come on. Come on.
There he is. Look at him.
Oh yeah.
That's him. Say hello, Walter.
Hi, Walter.
Hey Walter, how's it going, buddy?
That's enough for him.
I was just saying I was just blocking people on YouTube.
Just blocking people on YouTube.
I don't need their support.
Blocking everybody.
Just quickly going through and blocking
The thing is,
everybody
man,
on YouTube.
If anyone's watched for like an hour in, if anyone's watching this far, the thing is y'all gotta understand that I get penalized for how much of your content I used.
For how much of?
So if I
Excuse me,
react to a
what?
Tommy Graves song,
For your
I get
normal song. I thought you meant for
penalized.
this. I was
No,
like,
no, no,
what?
no.
Like,
if I react to a Tommy Graves song, I get penalized based on how much of his content I use. And chances are I'm going to
Really?
use 100% of your content. I might even
Wow.
use 120% of your content if I back shit up and try to re-listen to it. You know
Wow,
what I mean?
that's crazy. I didn't know that's how that worked. I knew that if people have content ID on and stuff like that you can get like copyright claims, which is
I can
kind
get
of
copyright
fucked.
claims. Here, I'll show you, bro. I'll show you.
But I didn't
So
know that it would like.
let's go most recent. So in order, let's do 10. Dave, count 10. Tell me when I'm done. And I'll tell you if I got monetized or not.
10.
So I got no, I got yes, I got no, I got yes, I got half,
1.
I got no, I got half, I got yes, I got yes, I got no, 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 I got no. So like it happens, bro. It happens.
All right. Well, I think I'm pretty sure I can't. I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure I purposefully leave that thing unchecked.
Yep.
So if you ever do use my shit, you will be not paying me for it.
Shout out to the content creators. You know what though, bro? Like I follow. The thing is, man, is I'm in a weird niche because I appreciate content creation for what it is. I appreciate the craft of creating, and I also understand that I do not create the same as both of you guys do.
I mean, as somebody who's about hopefully very soon to embark on a similar journey to yourself, different genre of music, but I look at it from the perspective of the content creators. I want them to use my stuff as much as humanly
exactly.
possible.
Why would you penalize that person?
Right? I want to expose their audiences to my stuff as much as I can.
Yeah.
Right, and just let it rip.
Same page.
Because if it brings them back to me, that's to my benefit in the long run.
Yeah, man. You're not like we're not fucking Drake, dude. I don't care about like, you know what I mean? Like I don't like I'm not
Drake, bro. What's Drake care about? He's got a B beside his name nowadays.
Well, it's about
Christ.
getting those people to know who you are.
Yeah.
Right. If they know who you are and you're doing more stuff, and they go, "Hey, I
Outside of
like
that, bro,
this," they want to get back.
Outside of that, especially in the rap game, bro, I got into hip hop because I follow reactors who told me what these hip hop guys were saying. I didn't have a clue that hip hop was so cool. I didn't know that lyricism was so fucking dope until I got distractors telling me about it. And then you get now in today's world, you get hip hop artists or rap artists or all kinds of artists talking about these reactors and mentioning their names back, and they say, "Hey, I want to be on your show." Maybe not mine.
Well, and that's
but
the thing.
someone's.
Yeah, you've told me about this. That's the thing that I appreciate about that more so than like some of the rock world, because there's been more resistance to it. And it's like,
Fuck that.
Why
bro.
are you
Fuck
fighting
that.
this? This is free advertisement.
Yep.
Like people,
Yeah, it's so
they're not
strange.
looking at it from the right lens.
Yeah, man, it's like the $10 you'll make off this, or like the potential to just like scale it outwards with like
It's-
an unlimited
yeah,
amount of content
to
creators.
get
Like, why
another
the fuck? Why
1,000
would you?
fans.
Yeah, why would you ever penalize somebody for, especially as like a smaller independent
Yeah.
musician? Why would you ever penalize somebody who wants to even give you a fraction of support by using your content? It never made sense to me. It's just more like when we were talking about, having a certain quality of product, like the music, and eventually if it gets enough eyes on it, people will just gravitate towards it. Like that's just the same thing. Like why would you want to take away the eyes that are on your stuff?
Yeah.
Especially if you really care about it and think it has, it's different if you're making like a ton of money off the putting content IDs
for
because you're
sure.
super well known.
Like you
Like,
said,
sure,
Drake
yeah, I
doesn't
get
need
it.
Drake
Yeah,
doesn't
exactly.
necessarily need
Exactly.
it,
I
right?
get that.
Sure. Yeah.
I get that. But I mean, for
What'd you say
someone
you
like
got paid?
us.
What'd you say you got paid on like your original content for what 10,000 streams?
Oh yeah, 10,000 streams for Spotify pays out about $50.
Yeah.
It's not a lot. It's not a lot.
Way more than I
That's
make.
just
It's-
Spotify.
That's
Yeah,
way more than
that's-
I make.
but that's kind of like radio play back in the day. Like it's kind of like looking at all these these different platforms for what they at least I look at them for what they would have been back in the day, like what the equivalent would have been. To me, Spotify is radio.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, how much did anybody ever get paid for having their song be played on the radio? It was like
Pennies.
fractions of a cent
I'm
kind
pretty
of
sure
thing.
you pay for radio placement today.
Nowadays,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, even back then, there was the payola is what they used to call it, right?
remember
Like
that.
guys would pay. Yeah, it was a whole thing. But anyway, I look at it like, okay, Spotify is what it is, and that's not going to be. You can't look at that as though it's going to be your main revenue source. I don't think, right? I think it's
harder to get there on Spotify. I
Yeah.
think it's not as hard as people think though. Because like when I
True.
talked about like I'm on track to pay my like my rent with like my rent's like $700 or something. So it's gonna be like that's what I pay, right? Me and my girlfriend split that.
Sure.
But it's like to do like that sort of numbers. Like if I'm getting I don't know what the exact number is, but if I'm getting like 3,000, 4,000 streams a day,
then it's adding up.
it
Yep,
adds up. Yeah, it adds
absolutely.
up. So
Yep.
and streams are easy. Like when it's like a very scalable thing. Like maybe at first, sure, that's like very very tough. But like if you continuously build your fan base and you continuously put out music and you build your catalog and your catalog is bringing in residual streams, like eventually you get to a point where you can actually like make decent money.
Yeah.
But it's a built thing. It's not something that is just like, oh, I put out 2 songs. Why aren't I fucking,
Well, and I think that's where it's you have to have the catalog. Yeah.
Yep.
And I think that's where, to tie it back into the whole influencer thing, right? As a form of marketing and advertisement, it's like you use that to drive people back to your Spotify page.
Yeah, 100%.
To get your streams,
That's what the
to
point
your
is,
YouTube
right? Yeah.
page to watch your videos, to you know what I mean? And it's like, that's your cost of marketing to put that stuff out there to get them back so that they are gonna keep hitting the things that you want them to hit. As long as you're driving them in that direction. To
Yeah,
me,
No,
that
100%.
seems like
All your socials should be a funnel towards your
Exactly, a
platforms,
funnel.
right?
Well, every step should be a funnel towards something. Like it's not like I have some aspiration of being a reactor for the rest of my life.
Mhm.
It's that I wanted to get back into the music industry and I saw an opportunity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like I'll build a wide audience to put out a channel to get my 100 subs. I don't care. Like it's my version of marketing, right? It's my version of getting a grab. I'm gonna do my thing, and it worked out, right? It's
Yeah.
it's
No, for
cool,
sure.
right? So
And it's also the other thing, like I think I was talking about this with my dad the other day, is like it doesn't always go the direction you think it's gonna go, but as long as you're like powerfully pursuing something that's like important to you, the opportunities that like arise because of it, are there. Like I'm sure like when you got into like being like a reactor and like making like longer form YouTube content and stuff, like you're just saying like a part of it was that you wanted to like continue creating music, which is like something that you're gonna do. But I mean, like look at the appeal and like the following you've built doing this. Like did you ever see it going like this far? Or
no, not one
Yeah.
bit.
exactly. So it's weird how you fall into things when you're pursuing stuff you care about, right? It's cool.
So here's a question for you. So
Sure.
like when I first started my YouTube endeavor, when I was first like I got to get out of my day job, I fucking hate working for someone else. I got to do.
Props to you for actually doing that.
Yeah.
My first month.
This guy
my
doesn't
first
work
down-
now. He's living off of YouTube, man.
My first month
Attaboy,
down.
man.
I'm
Yeah.
on my 9th day of my second month, and it's tough. We'll say it's tough.
Yeah.
But you know what?
But
This is
you made the jump.
I
though.
made the jump. I
You
made the jump. That's
You
the cool
jumped
thing.
that little
dude,
chasm, man.
rather put in a fucking 14-hour day for yourself than a 6-hour one for someone else.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, like,
Oh,
oh man, we could get into this. I went through a whole mental health stint where I was waking up at like 4:45, 5:30 in the morning, and I was so upset. And then all of a sudden I went, wait, I can do stuff before everyone wakes up in the morning? And I went, this is great. Now I love it. And now I love it, bro. And like, you know, that was one of those things. You in the one song you said, I'm the type, could you psilocybin my tea? And it's like, that was one of those pivotal moments for me where it was like, I just had a shift in my thought process, and I went, oh, this is okay.
Yeah.
And now I'm happy again. It's like, I'm not upset at myself anymore.
Dude, so much of like how you feel is I think is based on like your perspective. Like
100%.
It is.
the amount
absolutely.
of progression that I have seen like in and around music and in and around like any area of my life really, when I'm able to like accomplish a different perspective change, is phenomenal. Like it's ridiculous, man. All it takes is your understanding of something to shift or to see this thing in a different light, and all of a sudden, you know, something that you were dreading or something that made you anxious or you weren't able to like fully commit to, just like changes form, and you're like, holy fuck, like this is beautiful. This is, you know, this is an opportunity. This is whatever. So I'm like a very big proponent of like being like pretty malleable with your perspective based on you know, what you want to accomplish, if that makes sense.
That's something y'all have to get used to in your comment section. Not everyone's gonna love what you got to say.
Well, yeah, obviously.
I just start blocking
that's
them.
the internet right there.
I don't got time. I was talking about this earlier. I don't got time for people to think that I'm dumb or that what I'm doing is wrong. What I'm doing is for me. It's not for you. That just happens to be 5,000 people.
If you're getting people like that though, it means you're doing something right. You know, your nets are being cast wide.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's like miserable customers at the store, man. It's like they're gonna be miserable. There's nothing you can do about it.
Tommy
And
works in a fitness store.
Just take it.
Yeah.
Oh, do you?
I sell
nice.
fucking treadmills and stuff.
Oh, do you?
How is your
Okay.
guys' health?
Yeah.
How's
all
our
I pay.
physical health? How's our mental health? How's everyone doing?
Oh, I'm
good?
good. Yeah, kind of, I guess. Yeah, I'm chilling. I think I mentioned it earlier, like if I have any like tics or facial tics or whatnot, like I have OCD, and a part of that is, you know, that sort of thing. So that's something that's been pretty taxing throughout my life. Like it was crazy, man. Like the moment I didn't know that I had like pure OCD or OCD for like a long time. You know, oh, wacky little kid, something's going on, whatever.
Okay,
Doesn't matter. But like when I realized, like fucking 4 years ago, whatever, 5 years ago, it was like a weight had been lifted off my chest. Like there was like a name for this thing, and there was like an ability to do something about it. It was crazy. So I'm doing good in that regard because I understand now that you know, I'm not like, oh, this is the way things are. Like if I am willing to put in the effort and the time, I can make change, I can affect change, and I can do things to improve my mental. And before it was just like, fucking no, guess this is it. So
What do you do to take care of yourself? What do you do to ease the brain?
Oh, so I work out. It's a big one. Like staying moving is good. Music is an outlet. Obviously, it's very important for me. Writing like helps. Kind of, it's just like a cathartic thing, right? Like
It's the mind and the body there.
Yeah.
The two of them.
I also think like I do a lot of like introspection and things like that. Like part like while I'm writing, but just being able to like look inwards and like look at yourself from a point that's like a little bit different than you usually would, and kind of examine like what's really going on there, like independent of your emotions. That's been big for me too, like realizing you're like not your thoughts, so you're not your emotions, you're just kind of the observer of them, and being able to like, you know, sometimes separate that helps you build around it a little bit better, I guess. So those have like been pretty big things for me. Don't get me wrong, like it's not perfect, but I mean, I also think that part of my strength when it comes to writing music is because of that. So I'm, you know, double-edged sword. I'm okay with it. I'm happy. I have a wonderful girlfriend. I got a, you know, nice little apartment. Like making music, things are going well. Great friends.
Man.
So, you know, as of right now, I'm chilling. You got good days, you got bad ones, but I'm overall I'm pretty content.
So
you guys?
Is it pretty therapeutic for you?
Yeah,
writing?
insanely.
Yeah.
Insanely, because it's very strange. Do you ever feel like there's things that exist that either can't or are not meant to be like explained, or like there's like things that exist that you can't like talk about, you know, like the raw feeling of like anxiety, for example. You can like describe that to somebody. You can be like, oh yeah, it's like this fucking knot, this pit in your chest, you know, you can't swallow, you can't breathe, you know, blah 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 blah. But like
doesn't do
that's different, right? That's different than actually feeling it.
Yes.
So like no matter, like I feel like no matter the explanation, somebody, like say you had never felt anxieties before, so you had some fucking predisposition, you've never felt anxious in your entire life.
Sure.
Someone could give you that explanation and you'd be like, oh, that sounds fucking terrible. But unless you felt like the anxiety, unless you felt it, you wouldn't get it. You know what I mean? It's like the difference between like understanding a stove is hot and putting your hand on the stove and fucking burning your hand. So like for me, music and writing in like a bit more abstract sense, just like, you know, that flow state, just like channeling and like writing, that is as close to it as I can get. Like I feel like that, to me, like the feeling I put into my music and the ability that I have, or the ability to kind of take this thing, like this feeling, whatever, and put it here in a bit more abstract sense, that's like as close as I can get to explaining like a feeling or a vibe without using like traditional means, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? It's like, this is how I'm feeling. I could like write out how I'm feeling, but it wouldn't do it justice. I could also make a song, make this like little world, this little just like this little vehicle of this like vibe that the song represents. And to me, that's like as close as you can get to like truly sharing like a feeling or a sentiment or whatever it is. So that's like, for me, it's extremely therapeutic because it allows me to like feel like, holy fuck, like I'm one step closer to conveying this message, this idea, than I am just being like, oh, like, hey Jesse, this happened today, blah blah blah, I'm feeling like there's bugs in my skin, you know, like that sort of thing. It's, like music is like the most efficient vehicle for that for me. So yeah, it's extremely therapeutic.
That's dope.
Well, it almost bypasses, you know, the logical parts of the brain, right? Like it hits you in a different way that's a little more primal. You know? That,
100%.
Yeah.
So how do you go about like the forgiveness stage? Like, so like if you write a bar and it's like fucking trash, like how do you go like, that's okay, I'll write another one? You know what I mean? Or like, how do you forgive yourself?
How do I forgive myself? That's a good question. I guess it's I like curate my stuff like pretty heavily because I write a lot, and I feel like I've been in situations where I like really am feeling like what I've currently written and I really like it, and then I'll come back to it and I hate it, and I think that's okay. I think it's just a part of it, you know. Not everything's gonna be gold, and I think having the ability to like walk away from something if you're not feeling it, or you know, the just like the mental awareness to be like, oh, like, you know, I think like as an artist, like I think my strongest suit is my ability to write. Like I think I'm a very strong writer. That's what I'm best at. And you know, I'll write shit I don't like and I'll move on from it. I'll move away from it. I don't think it makes me a bad writer. I think it just means that I'm trying.
No, I think that's just practice. That's
exactly.
Refining.
It doesn't, you know, as long as I don't go take that thing that I don't care about and that I'm not passionate about and that means nothing to me and I hate, as long as I don't go put that in a song and drop it, like it doesn't really take away from me. It's just like, it can get a little frustrating if you have like writer's block and things like that.
Of course.
And in that situation, I'll just kind of do a reset. You know, maybe take a couple days, fucking play some video games with my buddies, take it easy, do whatever, cut my dog. You know what I mean? Just do like a soft reset. But like, I don't think just because you've written something bad or something you don't like, I don't think it makes you a bad musician, or or it doesn't hurt your skill, right? I think it's just the ability to recognize, hey, this isn't where I want it to be, and I'll move on from it.
Yeah, so, just part of that process, right?
Yeah.
No, interesting. I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure.
We were talking about the Skizzy Mars song Sunburn, which dropped on, was that November 2nd or 3rd?
November 2nd.
And what are we sitting at for views today?
Oh, okay, so the live counter went down. So your first week of release, it gives you a live counter. But currently, it just said there's 13 people listening. Yeah, as of yesterday, it's at 24,255 streams.
Congratulations, bro.
Thank you. It'll probably be by the end of the day, with like, because I check it fucking nonstop.
I bet.
It's like 5 people listening right now. I don't know.
Wild, man.
But like end of the day, it'll probably be at like it's kind of like first day I did like just about 10K. It's kind of leveled out at about 3,000 streams a day, 3,000 to 4,000. So I hope it keeps doing those numbers because those are really good numbers. Numbers I've never done before. So you know, like if I've never had a song hit 100,000, and that's like a few months. Maybe it'll fucking.
Your first 100,000 is weird, bro. I'm coming up on my first 300,000, and it's weird. It's real.
Wow.
It's
That's
real,
huge
real
though.
weird.
Yeah, so I'm super like, Sunburn was crazy, man. I'm super stoked on it.
Well, tell me about it, man. Like, how did it come together? How did the project come together? Tell me about the feature. Like, talk me through it.
Yeah, so I think we touched briefly on like how I talked to Skizzy, right?
Yeah,
like I did like those like the 16. So like that was that side of things. Once it was like I was working like I had the ability to work with like a really talented mix engineer that I just can't even remember how I came into contact with them, but
Shut him out.
I don't know his name, man.
Fair enough.
I know. Yeah. Anyhow, I'll dig it up. But we've like worked together on like this set of projects where I've felt like I'm doing music, like making music that's like very, very authentic. That's like this guy has been like helping mix it basically, and because I don't do my own mixing because it's something I haven't put a lot of time into. And I'm, it would hurt the performance of the art if I was mixing it.
I feel that.
But so basically, like this guy that I've been doing stuff with, he's like phenomenal. He's like been helping do stuff. And when I gave him Sunburn, there was like some issues that I hadn't seen with like some of my stems for the recordings and things I had to go back and record. So initially I was kind of like, fuck this song, man. Like it's good. I like it. Like, but the excitement I had for the idea kind of died because it was whatever. And then it took like, Skizzy, busy guy, completely understand that. I think he's signed to Atlantic and he, is working on projects and he's doing this and that. And that's a guy that's like fucking made it in the industry, right? He's a very, very talented musician. Yeah. So I got it took a while to get his verse back, which is like completely understandable. So, but when I got the demos back and I started like sharing them with people, like Shay was like, this is easily like my favorite song that you've ever dropped. And like a bunch of my friends that like my music and like regularly listen to my music, like a bunch of them, it's funny, like there's 3 songs that I've done with this mix engineer and they all had like a different favorite one, but a lot of people really, really like Sunburn. And like Sunburn wasn't my favorite out of the 3, like Apollo was. And just like the reaction that Sunburn is getting has made it, it's hard to not look at the numbers, right? Like I know Apollo probably could have came out with a Skizzy feature and since it got pushed to his audience, probably do like the same numbers, but like now I look at Sunburn and I'm like, fuck yeah, man. Like this song's dope. Like the song's so good. And like just some of that magic came back. Like doing 10K on my first day, man, I was like, holy fuck. Like it usually takes me, a couple months to hit a number like that. Like first 3 weeks Apollo was like 15, 1600, something like that, which is like good for just organic.
That's huge.
I'm okay with that, right?
Yeah.
I think I don't know what the exact stat is, but it's something like 90% of songs on Spotify never break 1,000 streams. Yep. And it's like, I'm just building out. I'm doing it. I'm just doing the best I can. But like seeing that like that grossly larger number, right? That like that 26K, 25K versus like 1,600, it was just like, holy shit, okay, like this song is actually doing numbers and it's going to continue to do numbers. And now I just want to make more music, man. I just want to make more songs with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Just keep it rolling.
Yeah. The other thing I've realized is if you make good music, you can approach people and you have avenues to approach people with like decent followings. And if you're like completely authentic, like this, I was working on a song today. And it's like almost die. I just like sat down, same type of thing. I just really, really liked it, crushed it, recorded it. And there's an artist, maybe this will be a throwback at some point, but there's this artist named Garden, and he makes kind of like punk, like emo, alt rap type music. And he's very, very good. He's very, very good, and he's very, very popular too. And I made this song, like even if it's unattainable, even if it's whatever, like I made this song with a feature from him in mind, like 100%. So I'm gonna bring it to him, man. I'm gonna try my best to bring it to him.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna send it to him.
That, man.
I'm gonna send him a message. I'm gonna be like, yo, bro, like I made this just with you in mind. I love your music. This is what I love about your music. Like this line spoke to me. Like he dropped a song called Geronimo recently, and there's like a line in the song where he talks about because he's a guy that has went through like a bunch of mental health stuff, and it's like very like defined by like the genre that he sits in as well, and he's very open about it, and I completely respect that. Like I think it's huge. I think that's part of his appeal, his ability to be like super open like that. But he has like this line where he's like it says, I miss drinking until 6 a.m. with all of my friends, even ones I just met. And then he says, hey, Owen, I hope that you're listening, man. You helped me get out of my bedroom again. And it was just like this little throwback to like probably just like, you know, just some dude that had some like experience with him that like helped him fucking pull his socks up.
Yeah.
And like that line, like, I don't know, it was that thing we're talking about earlier, you know, getting one step closer to source, one step closer to like truly being able to transmit like a feeling. Like the way he structured that, I was like, holy fuck. Like I completely relate to that. And like when I heard that, I was like, I want to do a song with this guy. So even though he's got like close to 1 million monthly listeners, I was like, I'm going to make a song that I think is really good. And I'm getting to the point where I think the quality of the music is getting high too. So I'm going to make this. I'm going to try and get in contact with them. I'm going to fucking make TikToks, bro. I'll make reels, like anything to get this dude's attention, right? And hopefully he likes the song and is on it. And then that gives me access to like another group of people. And it's like, I don't know, but it's genuine, right? It's not like I'm being like, oh, I can exploit this guy. It's like, damn, like I fucking love your music and I love what you're about, and I really like I made this for you, man.
Coming from the right place.
Yeah. So that's kind of like the attitude shift Sunburn gave me, is like even artists you really like are just people. And if you had you know, like the best move, like there's an example, I have a friend that's a screenwriter, and the example he gives me is like the best movie in the world could have already been written, but you know, like how do you stack it up to anything if no one's seen it, you know, if no one's read the script? So it's like your amount of followers you have and the amount of like traction you currently have isn't like necessarily an indicator of the quality of the stuff you're doing, especially as someone that's just starting out. So it's like if you can get that stuff and it truly is of high quality and you can get it in front of the right people, man, it'll do well.
Marketing is its own skill unto itself,
100%.
really.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like you said, you can have the greatest stuff in the world, but if you can't get it out to people, then it's just going to stay, you know, it's going to stay small. There's no way that it won't, right?
Yeah.
If you can develop the ability to reach, you know, a wide ranging audience, then you actually have the potential of doing
Well, and half that's just showing up, man, just being consistent and making and there's new avenues to reach these people that didn't exist before, right? Because it's like I could say like, and I'll completely outline what I'm gonna do for you, man. Like I sent right before this podcast, like up until 5 minutes before we were like doing this shit, I was like recording music, and I bounced all the stems, I sent it over to my mix engineer, and I was like, hey, bro, this is what I'm fucking doing. I'm gonna try and get Garden on this song. There's a slot for his feature. Just fucking ignore it. Can you just like, you know, do a soft mix on the song just so I have something polished to show this dude? And then when if I get a verse, if I don't, then we'll just wrap it up from there. So I like have this, like I'm waiting on getting this song back. I'm going to get this song back. I'm going to DM him on Instagram, just basically saying like exactly what I said to you guys. Like, hey man, like, cause I've listened to him for a while. Yeah. Like I love your music. This, like, I really love your music. This really connected with me. Like the sentiment in this line, like, these specific lines, like, got me, man. It got me. And so did this and this and this. Here's a finished song with a feature slot on it. And if he doesn't even see it on Instagram, I'll start making TikToks, bro. I'll start making reels. I'll start making YouTube shorts. Because like a guy like Garden, he has like 880,000 on TikTok. Or pardon me, on Instagram or Spotify. But like his TikTok presence, he's like established before TikTok. So his TikTok following isn't crazy, right? His videos get like 1,000 views, or pardon me, 1,000 likes and like 50 comments. I can be one of those comments, bro. I just need to be like, you know, get him to see it.
It's not big enough there that you can
exactly. Like, there is accessibility to this guy. If I am consistent with this, and if it gets to him, and if it is truly authentic enough and is truly of a high enough quality, it is my belief that he will see it and be like, let's do it, man. And maybe that's a bit like short-sighted of me, but it doesn't have to be with just artists like that, right? Like
exciting, though.
You know what?
And it's fun, man. Like, it's so fun. Like even if nothing comes of this, if this music thing, man, if it gave me the will to come home from work, to put a song together, to get excited about something, and like chase after it, even if nothing comes after it, isn't that better than sitting in my fucking room smoking weed and being sad? Like, you know what I mean?
And you know what? There's something though too. Like if you keep at him, even if it doesn't work the first time, if you keep going, there's like there's almost like the flattery aspect of it, where it's just kind of like eventually somebody goes, man,
This
What
guy
the
won't
fuck?
leave me alone.
This guy fucking loves my
This
shit.
guy's
Like,
like,
what
10
is
songs.
that?
Like,
Yeah, man.
Why?
And I think it's about like my
Right?
big thing is if it's authentic enough. Like I
That's
truly,
what I mean, right?
I
Like,
truly think
yeah, it's
people
not a
are.
cash grab, right?
Yeah, because like, dude, I'm at the point where I get DMs. Like me, man. I have like
Sure.
after this song, I have like 17,000 monthly on Spotify,
Yeah.
which is probably a bit inflated just because of like the Skizzy song, and it'll keep going up for a bit. Before
Sure.
that, I was at like 5,000, just like with nothing, right? With no whatever, which is like still good, and I was still happy with that.
Yeah.
But like, even me being at that point, I pretty consistently have smaller artists messaging me, being like, "Yo, dude, let's fucking get to it. Let's chop it up. Let's work." And I'm like, I get those DMs, and I'm like, "Fuck yeah, bro. Let's see what you got going on." And then, like, when I look at their shit, it's like, you don't actually care about any of this. You don't give a fuck. But, like,
Show
just
up on
dude,
their own record. That's
just-
what I say.
man, if a dude with 10 followers sent me, like, a link to a finished song being like, dude, I really like Sunburn and Apollo because of this, and this, and, like, they truly spoke, blah, blah, blah. And then I looked at the shit and it was good. I'd be like, fuck yeah, man.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Like,
Yeah,
your following is not, like, an indicator of whether or not, like,
No,
I
and-
want to work with you. And I think there's a lot of artists out there that are at this level that feel the same way. So it's just, just a matter of getting. Does Garden feel that way? I don't fucking know. I'm gonna try though.
I mean, the thing is too, like, you would have to look at this as, people coming to you, and then think of it as you going to other people.
Yeah, we
You
approach
have
them the way you. Yeah,
you approach them the way that you would want to be approached, and at the same time, it's like you would know that those guys don't want to work with somebody who's putting out trash,
of course. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And is
Yeah.
not trying, just the
Yeah.
same way that you don't you
100%.
don't have time for guys that aren't trying. It's just like
Yeah.
it's all just like Instagram bullshit.
Yeah, yeah.
Right,
Oh, it's
you
tough
know.
because like some of these guys, like they'll message me and they'll have like 30K on Instagram. I have like 1,600 or some shit because it's like that's not. It's like I probably need to grow, but it's not where I put my focus, right? Like it's
Sure, yeah.
doesn't matter. So, but then you look at these guys that have like 20K on Instagram, and you'll click on their links to their music, and it's like, holy fuck, you have a song with 2 million streams, and you have 300 monthly listeners.
Like, what's going on here?
Huh? Weird.
Yeah.
Something's not quite adding up there.
Well, yeah, and
The
that's a
numbers speak for
whole other
themselves.
thing there. It's like, then you've got like bot shenanigans and
Yeah. So it's like that's, and I think I'm like relatively modest with my stuff. I'm super happy with my stuff, and I'm super like I think the stuff I'm making is truly, like I've used this word a lot tonight, but like truly authentic to like the type of person I am and what I'm trying to express, and I love it. Like I love the music I'm making. And I'm not a super cocky guy, but I really like the stuff that I'm making.
Hey, man,
and I
yeah.
think it's like of a certain quality. So I think if I approach, people that are a little bit bigger than me, like I guess what I'm trying to say is I think if somebody were to do the same to me, I think like I would be game for it. And I hope it is my impression that there's other people with that kind of philosophy out there as well. So
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, Dave and I say no to people.
yeah.
We have
You
people
should.
that we're like,
You should too, right? You
I
should.
don't know.
I mean, you get guys like lots of local fellas. It's like, well, this is not
should
gonna
say
be
no.
that.
But that's one of those weird things where it's like you got to respect yourself. Like this, like you'll be our first interview from outside of town. You know what I mean? So, and it's like,
and I'm very appreciative for that.
Yeah,
Well,
we're
so
kind
we-
of breaking new ground here with this one because this
Hell
is kind of the maiden voyage of setting up this rig to do it this way.
Yeah,
So
like-
No, man, it's been
Yeah, man.
phenomenal. And I will add, if there's ever a time in the future where you guys want me back, I will be more than happy to.
dude,
I think Dave
I think
had more of
absolutely.
a request than that for you. Just tee you up for that one.
well, I thought of something while we were talking here.
What's that?
Oh, I just I'll get Jesse to send you the stuff that I've worked on.
Sure.
And if you dig that at all, I kind of had some ideas about maybe throwing a track together on something.
Sure, man. I would love to take a
Yeah.
look at the stuff. You know what? If it's like
It's
if
hard rock, metalish
It's,
stuff.
it's pop driven. It's very
Pop-driven,
anthemic.
yeah.
It's very anthemic, just like your
female
music, Tommy.
vocalists.
Sure.
Okay.
man,
And-
if it clicks, like if I'm down for it, if I listen to it and I like it, I'm 100% down.
But I was kind of thinking about I'm a musician. I like doing different stuff. I like collaborating with people and doing
It's very
things.
good to
and-
build connections, man. It's,
Yeah, right. And it would be kind of a different avenue, but I come from the metal world, but then I've gotten more into various
Pop, rock.
pop, like even
Little
like some
funk with
hip hop
me.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and dude,
electronic stuff, like
the thing too with like the climate of music right now is there's these very cool like subgenres emerging, and they're kind of like, it's like there's like music you can't even put in a box, man, and that's so fucking dope.
Right?
Like if there's, you know what I mean, if we have like sounds that work together, like we don't have to put a genre on it, bro.
Yeah.
Like I'm super down to just make a song.
That's
So,
what I was
yeah,
thinking,
fuck
right?
yeah,
Like just
man.
throwing a song together, because I know like Jesse and I've been talking about doing some stuff, and we kind of started on a couple of little things, and
Yeah.
yeah, it would just be fun. Like I said, I like working with people and doing stuff, and
Well,
yeah,
you both seem like extremely genuine people as well, and that's like the other side
Thanks,
of it too,
man.
right? So
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
this has been dope. It's been
well, like
very
I said,
dope.
I could kind of feel it off of you too, right? So that's
Oh,
kind of
thank
where
you.
I thought that was like, oh, okay, I kind of connect with this guy a little bit, just
Yeah.
even through the camera here. So it's like, oh, there's
I
something
appreciate
to
that,
that.
man.
You know what I mean?
appreciate that. I don't think I'm for
Yeah.
everybody, but I think, you know, I think
Hey, none
I
of
like
us are.
connecting with people. So
Absolutely.
That's why I'm
man.
blocking people on YouTube. It's not for
hell
everybody,
yeah.
but
Hell yeah.
That's the
for me,
law of
that's
on
all.
YouTube.
So what's
Using
to
your-
come? What's to come of Tommy Graves? We're gonna get a punk rock record out of you. I feel like you got some singing in you.
Yeah, so like the direction I'm kind of headed is just like more melody focused stuff. I don't think I'll ever completely take the hip hop out of the equation. It's just so
Sure.
fun to come back to, and I love the lyricism. And I love like what I did. The song I recorded today. I love having like a riff, and I love like playing off of it, and I love like having like a just like a chunk of it that's like more focused on like a melodic singing part, and then like leaving a couple bars and then going into like a little hip hop part, like kind of like in Apollo, where it's like the you know, the main chorus, and then it immediately jumps into like once more for the kids in the back, 2 drinks throwing up with his head in his lap, like that type of thing. And it's just such a nice like juxtaposition for me, and I love writing that way. So I don't know, like every song I ever put out will have a hip hop influence, man. Like I grew up on like fucking early G-Eazy. I grew up on Seattle hip hop, Mac Miller, like Blue Scholars, Common Market, like just like these guys that like are so heavily focused in their lyricism and their flow and their technical ability. And my dad's a fucking rock star, man. Grew up on like Van Halen and
Okay.
you know, and like all, and so I have rock influence, and I've grown up listening to like fucking Sting and just, you know, like shit like that. So like there's a very apparent rock influence. It's just I'm like just getting to the point where I'm a little bit more comfortable with like my technical ability for things like that, and I'm kind of putting them all together now. So it's like the songs that I'm putting together are like they're different and they're fun, and like like you know, they don't fit neatly into a box. They're kind of like rap and indie pop and like all like anti pop and just like very very cool songs that like are very fun to make. And yeah, I'm just making music that I like, man. It's fucking awesome. So I'm so dude. Again, if there was 0 people listening, it's like it's so fun. Like it's
yeah, if
and
you
the
do
time
it
just
for
slips
yourself.
away, man. It slips away. I was off
Yes.
work today. I waited for my girlfriend to. I was like, "Hey Shay," fucking listen up. You got to get the fuck out of here. That's what I was like. I was like, you got to get the fuck out of the house. I'm recording music today. No, I'm paraphrasing. I'm very nice about it.
Yeah. Of
You know, I
course.
don't like, yeah. So she's like doing whatever. She's on her way home with like wings for me right now. Dope. And then I just like made a song, and I blinked, and 4 hours had passed. And it's like, holy shit! Like I was just recording layers and shit.
Yep.
and-
I've done the same thing, man. Like recording stuff, like just sitting there working on a song, and all of a sudden it's like you look up and it's like hours are ticking by.
That is how I would love to spend my time though. And I woke up this morning, just like in our little apartment with like our dog, and it's cold outside, and like I was like just thinking the direction things are heading, and I was like, man, it's not impossible that in a little bit I will be able to wake up and not have to go drive into a store. Like I can wake up and I can sleep in if I want, and I can go work on music, and then I can figure out social content, and I can push on this and this. And it's like my dad, man, like my dad has been the hugest supporter throughout this whole thing for me, because he like loved my mom to death, but she's not as like musically inclined, right?
Sure.
She's not oriented that way as much. But my dad, like he's built his life in a way that he can play music. Like he owns a security company, and he like hires techs and has contracts with like Loblaws and stuff. So like he's built his life in a way that he can play music as much as possible. And he's this crazy recording studio at his place, and like
Nice.
he's just like he's been in band since he's like 9 years old, and he's
Who's
like
your dad? Who's your dad?
his name's Peter Graves, man. I'm trying to he wants to like do stuff together, because I'm like garnering a following, and I'm like, Dad,
Nice.
I'm gonna fucking make you like a Spotify account. I'm gonna like
Who's he played with?
Pardon me?
Who's he played with? Like, is he?
Oh, so he was like a local act in and around Vancouver like a while ago.
So my
went-
mentor got like popularized through Vancouver and through the circuit in Vancouver in the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Oh, really?
70s, 80s, and 90s.
Maybe you would know him then, man. Like I see, this is kind of where my knowledge on the subject like tapers off a little bit, and I won't pretend to fucking throw names around. I just know that he was like very active gigging from the time he was like 9 till 30. And then like the reason he like tapered off with that sort of stuff is because like my parents got pregnant with me, and then he like situated his life in a way that he could like his life in a way that he could like continue to make music, and like his support throughout this whole thing has been phenomenal, man. Like he will be like after my first live show, man, he was like hyping me the fuck up, and the show was so fun, man. Like there's people coming out of the basement. It was at Junction in Calgary. There's like people coming out of the basement, and there was like fucking 40-50 people, which isn't a lot of people, but for me on my first show and they're like hype, and they're like singing along and stuff. And my dad was just like, they made me cry, man. I was teared up on stage, and my dad was just like, Thomas, like dead serious. He's like, I see a future for this in you. And like when I released Apollo and I released like Sunburn, he's telling me, like, I went over to his house the other night, man. He's like, and this isn't to brag, this is just to share like the sentiment my dad holds to me. He's like, you need to start preparing for like what's to come, because you have a future with this, and like I can see you moving towards it.
Oh man, that's so awesome,
dude. It's so heartfelt, and to hear that from like the person that I arguably look up to most in the world was like so just like a very, very cool moment. So yeah, shout out Peter Graves, man. Shout out my dad. He's
that's
he's
awesome,
a phenomenal
dude.
guy.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My network's been good, man. My circle is very,
man.
very, very close.
That's wicked. I have a little girl, and I'm trying to get her into music now, and she's just started. I just taught her a couple of chords on guitar last week. Yeah.
Oh man, that's where it started with me and my dad. But like I never. Oh, I think I just kicked my gain all the way up. Holy fuck. Good. Am I okay?
Oh, yeah. You definitely kicked it up, but
yeah. Is it okay? Should I turn it down?
Maybe
you could, or you
hold
it back.
Just hold the mic
Either
back.
one. Yeah.
What about now? It's on the floor.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Fucking whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah, man. It's just
2 hours in. It's fine.
it's just dope. Like it's very cool. Like I never like gravitated towards like an instrument specifically, right? Like my dad tried to teach me guitar, and I was like kind of whatever on it. I played like the trumpet in middle school. That was like the closest I got.
Oh yeah.
And I liked it. I liked it a lot, and I was like decent at it. But like just writing melody and building around that sort of thing was what much more up my alley. And just like hear like I said, to hear people you care about give you those words of affirmation is super powerful. Hey, Walter.
Yeah, man. Oh, that really does mean something.
Yeah. And my brother too. My brother, his name's Jackson. He lives in Europe right now. Walter, what's up? Jackson. He lives in Europe, and he goes to school for architecture, and he's always the one that's been more kind of focused in an artistic sense. So he like played the violin and the piano like at incredible levels. He's a phenomenal singer. Like there's a cover of him on YouTube singing Rocket Man, and it's like fucking ridiculous. Like the pipes on this kid are absurd. He's like a ridiculous painter and a sculptor. Like the dude's one of the most talented people I've ever met in my entire life. But like he's pursuing like, you know, the architecture route because he's most passionate about like design and things like that. And he's killing it. He's doing phenomenally. So it's just like the shift was very strange to see people like in our family and our immediate circle be like, oh, like this is the guy that's doing this. And then I come out at like 18, 19, being like, oh, rapper or whatever. And then all of a sudden it gains traction, and it's like, holy fuck. You know, you have family friends being like, damn, like just so you know, like you're doing very well. And I'm like, thank you. Like I know.
You know what though? Like
it's awesome.
That brings us back to one of our points earlier in the night. Like everyone will have something to say until it works out for you.
Yeah.
And what's interesting though is what they say. Like, so we were looking at rental properties, and the advice that we got was ridiculous. It was like, none of you have ever had a rental property. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's like the same thing in music. It's like, if I'm trying to make it as a musician, what are you all doing giving me advice?
Man, you would not. Why the fuck? Why if you got sick and needed surgery, you would go to a surgeon. If your car broke down, you would go to a mechanic. You would not take advice on how to build an airplane from a janitor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like why?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just tough because music is one of those things that like everyone is very inclined to have an opinion on, because they're like, it's like common ground almost, you know what I mean? Oh, you can't do that. It's really hard. It's really hard to do that. But people don't understand like the intricacies of it. Like I've spent years, man. I've spent my whole life writing music, and I'm like well versed in it, and I know how like a lot of this stuff works, and I know like I'm here and I need to get to here, and I see the steps to get to here. You're just fucking being like, oh, you're not gonna be fucking Post Malone. And it's like, I don't care. I don't need to be.
Post Malone, man. Like,
Yeah, I don't need to like. You don't have to be like a fucking superstar to make them. Like, there's like definitely a rise in kind of like the blue collar musician.
You can
as
do
of
it with
late.
less people.
Right? Yeah,
You can do it with less
100%,
people.
man,
You
100%.
can.
So it's like I don't need to listen to people that like think they know what they're fucking talking about, because I do know what I'm talking about.
Just find
you
those
know?
fans that love what you do, and just get that good core base and try to grow it little by little by little.
Yeah.
I mean,
100%.
I've got this theory: if you can find 100,000 people around the world that you can get $10 from a year, you make $1 million a year.
Yeah, man. That's like there's like what is it, the 1,000 true fan thing? Like a true fan is willing to spend $100 on you a year, right?
oh, easy.
Well, then,
it's like
then
it's
1,000
even less, man.
Yeah, exactly, right.
But it's like it's not hard to hit. Like if you're doing stuff that you're passionate about, it's not hard to have people identify it. Like there's clips of people like doing music and things like that. And it's like technically not even super impressive, but like they have like an ability in some form or another, you know, in a way to make you relate to it, or they're like look at the like, not to get sidetracked, but like look at like some of the top musicians of the world, like people like Ed Sheeran. Like I like Ed Sheeran's music. I think he's like a very good musician and makes very, very good songs. He's not like the most technically impressive musician in the world, though. It's a completely separate skill,
it
right?
is. Yeah, it is.
And it's like there's this misconception that you have to be. It's gonna sound weird, but like that you have to be good to be. You know what I mean?
No,
Like, you have to be good at
Time,
something.
though. There was a time where you had to be able to shred. You had to be able to downpick
Well,
master
to some
hits, you had to
degree,
be able to shred.
but at
and
this-
nowadays, it's like you just got to be able to put out stuff that people vibe with.
Well, at the same time, though,
It's a different skill, I think.
I think yes and no. I think like throughout time, though, the thing that has been constant is if you write a good song transcends many
Marketing,
things,
yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
like
If it's
it
good at the end
really
of the
does.
day.
Like a good song, like it doesn't have to be technical. It doesn't have
Yes,
whatever, it doesn't have
So-
to be well produced. Even like it's
100%. I have this thing that I've been kind of like thinking about lately, and it's kind of exactly Walter's fucking dead weight in my lap. There's it's like something I've been kind of like on the same notes what you're saying there, right? Like technical ability is basically like as a musician, it's just like your scope to create. So like even if your ceiling's like here, within like these bounds, you can still make something incredible, right? When you have like a larger technical ability, it kind of just gives you like more leeway, right? Like if I could hit higher notes, if I had more consistency with like my pitch or like this or that, I'm sure I could like create like technically more impressive songs or have like more options for like what I'm creating. But it doesn't mean from like here to here that I can't make great music.
Even so, though, I would almost argue to a point, like as someone who comes from the metal world, some of the best most technical musicians are not the best songwriters.
Oh, never.
Yeah.
You know what I
That's
mean?
fair. It's a different skill for sure.
It's a different skill. Like it's a whole different like way of thinking about things. So like being technically proficient doesn't necessarily guarantee that you're going to be able to write something that somebody else is actually going to be able to, you know, resonate with. Like that's and some people that are not technically proficient by, you know, technical standard of the word, write songs that are amazing, you know, that are it's not you have to be, I think you don't have to be amazingly proficiently technical.
I agree completely. I guess like kind of the sentiment that I more so like there's like this artist named Aries, and he's like probably my favorite musician, and he's like
In demand.
he's both like technically impressive and like a very good songwriter.
Sure. Oh, and those people
And
exist too.
Yeah, and it's more so like kind of the idea that I could like if I improve on like certain facets, it would give me more freedom for like the way I write songs.
Yeah.
But like
That's the
but
thing.
I'm okay with that, right? Like I'm okay. Like I like the music I'm making, and it's
Yeah.
eventually I'll, you know, I'm sure if I put time into something, it's just a practice skill. Like anything else, I'll learn to get better at, you know, A, B, and C if I put time into it. So
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Sounds like your wings are there.
My wings are here. I'll probably hold off on them for a bit though.
No, you're good, man.
That's all good.
I want to loop back to my last question here. What we can expect from Tommy Graves in the near future here, bro, and we can carry this on in part 2 if you'd like.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I'm. It's whatever you guys like. I'm not really in a rush, to be completely honest. So it's whatever you guys have time for. If you want to call it.
I just have a 2-hour window on this live stream thing.
Okay, for sure. That's cool. If you guys want to do another, that's cool. If not, we can just call it.
Another one. I would love to have another one.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, just let me know.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
But, what you can expect kind of within the next little bit, that garden thing, man. That garden thing.
Yeah.
That's like an idea I had like within the last 4 days, and it just like jumped right.
I'll take him in this.
I wrote the what is it? Like I wrote the melody for it like before I got in the shower, man. It was like I was like getting ready for work and I was like, oh, holy fuck. Like I need to write this down. And yeah, like so that garden thing will be happening. I'm just gonna try and like consistently put out music, like a song every 3 to 4 weeks. I'll post fucking silly little TikToks. I went to Toronto Film School as well, so I have like a little bit of editing background. So some of the videos have some like little visual quirks and stuff, nothing crazy, but you know, stuff like that. So I'm just gonna keep making music, man. Keep making content. Keep trying to grow it. Yeah, if anyone comes like from this podcast to listen to the music, I greatly appreciate you. I appreciate like every single person that presses play and listens to the songs, because to me it's like if you like the songs, you like are gravitating towards something I say.
Well, man, hopefully we send some people your way. That would be
like that would be very cool. Again, like I'd be doing it if there was 0 people here. I think that's the big thing for me. But I do really appreciate like everything else is a bonus, right? Like this is one of the things that kind of keeps me going. So if I can eventually turn this into something that like sustains me and gives me, a life that I can
keep hammering away
after it. I will.
Keep at it. That's I think the trick.
Hammering, bro.
Persistence, right?
That's basically it for me. Like no EPs. I was gonna actually all like these songs that I'm doing. I was gonna do on an album called Water the Houseplants, and I was gonna do merch and stuff for it. But I was like, singles are easier to promote. I'll still do merch for like my 10 friends.
Put them out as singles and then package it together as an album when it's done, and then remarket it again.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. That
B-sides on it, and then you got a couple extra tracks. Done.
Bro, like you're gonna get in a tuffle with someone downtown Calgary, and you're gonna be like, bro, I'm gonna write a whole fucking diss record about you.
Yeah.
Or drop it as an EP. Fuck them. Yeah. And then go back to the singles.
Start being this guy. Don't you know who I am? I have a song with Skizzy Mars. That's me. Oh, I actually, what's crazy is like 8 months ago, I got recognized in public, man.
Oh, wow.
Tell me all about it, please.
I was in Okotoks. Like I went to high school in Okotoks, and it's like I have, I guess, like a chunk of a following there. And I was outside of a thrift store and a weed store with my girlfriend, and we were just like walking around, and this guy like pulled up in like a Stang and like rolled down his window, just like this like pretty muscular dude, and he looked like this guy that I knew from high school.
That makes sense.
In Okotoks, yeah, tatted up. He looked like this. He looked like one of my buddies from high school, and I was like, oh, I know this guy. And he rolled in the window, and he goes, "Are you Tommy Graves?" And in my head, I was like, what a weird way to say hello to me. What a strange way to say hi. So I like walked up. I was like, yeah, dude, what's up? And I was like, oh, this isn't this fucking guy at all. This is a completely different human being I've never met before. And he just goes, your stuff's fucking awesome, man. And I was like, dude, like, thank you so much. Like, that means so much to me. And he's just like, yeah, dude, like, whatever, keep at it, blah, blah. And he just like took off. And like that interaction, it was like so pure and it's like so nice. But I called my dad immediately. I was like, Dad, I just got recognized in public by a guy in Okotoks. So
what a trip, right?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I got a similar story. I'll tell mine. I don't like to interrupt other people's stories on my show, but I'll tell mine too. So I remember when I first got recognized in public from my YouTube channel. I was at Edo on the south side.
Hell yeah, dude, Edo's good.
And I'm not even kidding you, bro. I had like $8 in my pocket type thing, like one of those situations. And I was like, bro, I just need some spring rolls. I just want to go home with my spring rolls, right? And the lady like goes to reach in like the hot box thing, and this guy from behind the fry thing, man, he's like, no, I'm gonna make them fresh. He goes, I watch this guy's YouTube, it's good.
Oh, that's tight.
So it was $3.50 for 2 spring rolls. I tipped him another $3.50. Walked out of there with $1.
That's hype. That's so
So I was
cool.
like, oh shit! Same thing. I called my parents. It's like the guy Ito just recognized me, and I don't know what to do about it.
You feel like a celebrity in that moment, man. Like
Yeah.
I was like over the fucking moon, man.
Oh, it's wild.
And I was like,
Such
this is like an anomaly because it's like I'm kind of from Okotoks, right? So it's like if it was gonna happen, sure, it'd be in Okotoks. This guy's probably like 1 degree of connection away from fucking knowing me. Like, so it's just cool for like a stranger to see that. You said these cap it too?
2-ish. They start getting hairy, as you can see. It's probably starting to glitch a little bit and stuff. I just started getting issues at 2. But what's up? What's on your mind?
Oh, nothing, man. I was just wondering if you wanted to like cap and keep going, or like what your plan is, or.
I mean, I just gotta be.
I gotta take a pee, and I'm getting hungry.
Yeah. Well, here, I'll tell you what, Tommy. I appreciated the last what we can expect from you. Do you have any questions for us?
Oh, well, I'd be interested, kind of like your guys' plans, like because you both said, I'm sure you have expansions, Jesse, within the channel, the channel that you're excited about, and then you're both talking about like putting up music and whatnot. So I'd like to hear about that.
I can speak to that. You want to go take a bathroom break?
Sure, I'll be right back.
Okay. So I'm not gonna talk about Dave's project because I lent some ears and that's it. But yeah. I've been a musician, bro, for a long time. Like I started playing guitar in grade 6, and I'm 30 now, so whatever that adds up to. I've been singing forever and a day. I've been so fortunate, bro. I was a sound and audio engineer for 10 years before my band started, and then my band did well.
Wow.
Like, we're a weekend band. We were booked a year in advance, like every weekend. It was great for like 4 years straight, bro.
Wow.
And I've never ever written a song before. I've never written a riff that I've locked down. I've never written anything ever. And a big part of that is I don't forgive myself for it not being what I want. Right. So my big reasoning for the YouTube channel actually started off of a job opportunity I got turned down from in Okotoks for what's the radio station there called? Eagle something.
Oh yeah.
Yes. I applied for a job there. That was the last job I ever applied for, and I was top 2 candidates out of like 50 or 60, and they decided no. They thought I was too young for the people that worked there. They didn't think I'd be able to run the show for them. So I said, "Fuck you guys, I'll do my own thing." Right. So started the YouTube channel, bro, and it's been a year. Here we are, right? And I learned from so many amazingly gifted performers, and I get all of it, bro. You're gonna get it too. Like people will be like, oh, you're just reacting to this because you're gonna get numbers, you're gonna get subscribers, and I'm like, I almost don't want that. I want more dedicated people and less just like I'm just here for this artist, you know?
For sure.
And that's not the case. So for me, I'm all over the place here. I'm jumping all over the place.
No, you're completely good. You're just you're fine, buddy. Don't even sweat it.
So for me, it's like I'm learning, I'm taking these opportunities in, and I want to use it for something outside of telling you when someone's using vocal compression or when a sound engineer is using a quarter note or a half note delay.
Sure.
There's more to it. Like I want to use those things again. I want to do those things again. So,
dude, and if you're like constantly around it, I'm sure you will get there. And like just in terms of like the forgiveness thing, because like we did touch on it earlier, like. It doesn't make you like writing something that is not up to your caliber. It just means that you're trying, and it just means that you're aware enough to know that this isn't it. And it's just like anything else. It's like time in, time out, 10,000 hours. Like you just put in your time, you get good at things, man. Like I've disproportionately put in time writing opposed to producing or mixing or mastering. Like I've been fucking writing music and writing poetry since I was in grade 4. Like I'm good at writing, right? I'm good at that. I've put in probably 10 hours on everything else, and I continue to progress and improve and learn. But I would say you have done a more well-rounded approach than someone like myself has, in the fact that you're more well-versed in a broader range of things musically that I'm still trying to fucking learn. You just need to put in more time doing the writing, and then eventually it'll get to a point where like, holy fuck, you'll put in your 100th hour and you'll be like, damn, this is dope. Start writing music in the bath, bro. That's what I do. I write all my songs in the bath. That's no word of a lie, man. I write like the vast majority of my music in the bath. I swear to God. It's funny.
This is gonna be a conversation for another night, but like I get into like where I'm like, okay, I got something I want to say. I want to like let it out, whether it's like about my fiance or about like someone I'm upset with, and then I'm like, all right, I'm good. I preached my sermon and I've moved on. And now I don't want to hear about it anymore.
You know what? If I would argue that if it's like cathartic in that sense for you, that you're like able to like move on, then doesn't it serves its purpose all on its own, you know? Or are you actually like writing these things, or are you just kind of
me writing? I'm like, oh yeah, I could write a song and I could like have this kind of a vibe and this kind of a vibe, and then I'm like, oh man, now I'm good. Like I just felt the things I wanted to feel, and now I move on, right? So,
that's fair.
To be fair, I was an audio engineer before I was a musician, like by profession.
Yeah.
So I do think that there is a little bit of a like the show's done, let's move on. That's in my blood. Instead of like hanging on to things, and I do treat that with like care and respect and love, because I used to be very caught up in moments, very caught up in experiences, and very like angry towards those things, but now I'm not. So it's kind of like this give and take. I don't know, it's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, I have one more question.
Please.
Jesse, do you have any tattoos?
I got lots of tattoos. Yep. I have my heart on my sleeve. Let me show you.
That's hype. I would also like to. I'd like to see lots of tattoos. Damn, that's dope. I like that one.
I've got. Hold on, Dave. You're gonna have to watch out for a second.
Have you ever done a tattoo tour on your Twitch or your YouTube?
Most of my tattoos are pretty like driven
Low-key?
from like a feeling.
Oh, okay.
So I talk about them a lot. So like this next one, this is a Pink Floyd lyric. I don't admit it much because of the Ukraine problem that's going on there. So this is it says the show must go on.
Yeah, that's dope as well.
Pink Floyd lyric, but now I say it's a Queen lyric. So. But it's the truth, bro. It's like I've had people in my family, I've had close friends to me pass away, and I still have to go out and gig that night because the show goes on.
Yeah.
Like the ticket buyers, the people putting on the shows, they don't give a fuck about your personal life. You gotta stop that shit. You gotta put on your craft.
Oh yeah, that translates into a lot more than just playing music too, right? Keeps going.
I also
here's a cool one. It's a bird. It's a fucking bird with some little glasses on. Some little sykes.
Tell me about it.
It's nothing to tell, dude. It's a fucking bird with little glasses on. I got to the point where I got enough tattoos that they just started becoming stuff that I like. This one says "Feed Your Head." It's the name of one of the songs that I have out with my buddy Dom, and my best friend Greg also got that tattooed as well, and my dad is gonna get it as well. So there's like some that I have like my parents' birthdays and stuff, but like most of it's just like cool little pictures that I like, little doodles.
Dave and I
have Memento Mori on my sternum too. So,
what's that? Sorry,
Memento Mori. It means remember that you have to die. I have that on my sternum here.
Oh, no, that's kind of neat. That's kind of like
a seize the day, you know.
Seize the day.
I was saying you kind of have like a dark positivity to like a theme in your music.
Yeah, I would agree with that for sure.
It's like maybe I'm sitting in something that's blurry or foggy, but the horizon is right.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that's because like a lot of times the place that I make music from is that foggy place. Like I not to get like too much into it, but like I've for sure dealt with my fair share of like mental struggles. You know, I've had OCD my entire life, and when people think OCD, they think like, oh, like I have to line things up in a row, but it's more like having thoughts that like make you want to throw up. You know, like just like worrying about like your own well-being and just like being so what's the word? Just upset and like feeling like you're in danger from the way your brain works, and like, you know, you're like your own worst enemy in a sense. And it's like it's something that like I've been thinking about since I was a kid, you know, like that style of thinking, that like that level of like self-destructiveness. So like growing up and being able to like overcome that in a sense and like be okay with it has been huge for me. And it's like it's something that I won't ever fully be free of, but it's something that lets me pull and express. And, you know, it's not something that everyone will relate to, but it's something like a lot of people will relate to. Absolutely. And I'm happy about that, you know, like I do, like that's, you know, kind of, I like that description, you know, it's like positivity from like a hazy place. Cause like my stuff isn't necessarily all rainbows and butterflies, and it's not all doom and gloom either. It's kind of like, you know, a little mosaic, like a healthy mix of both. And,
what's that?
Yeah.
It makes me want to like take action, like based on the feeling I'm in. Like I listen to, I'm not kidding, I listen to Apollo all the time.
I'm glad, man. I like Apollo a lot.
But even like, you know, like some of the lyrics, like I'm screaming from the pavement. It's like,
yeah,
I remember a time where I would have done, this is a different reference to another video I did, but I would have done anything, bro. If you would have told me, if you would have came to me and said, hey, bro, if you do this, you'll feel better. I'd be like, yeah, whatever it takes, bro. You want me screaming from the pavement? You want me in the front rows of this concert? Whatever it takes to make it. Whatever it takes for me to get past this feeling I'm in right now and feel something else. I don't care. I'll do it.
And I love that, like that understanding that you have of the song, because like a lot of the times, and especially with Apollo, like when I wrote Apollo, like I was kind of like we were talking about, like a flow state type thing, right? But it's like when I think about like what the song's actually about, like it's about the stuff we talked about earlier, but it's about a lot, man. It's about however the individual wants to interpret it. And if someone can like build a case for like what something means to them based on a lyric or like a vibe they got from the song, then it's about that too. And like I'm happy for that. I'm happy that people can have interpretations of the song that, you know, mean something, that I was able to deliver that. And that kind of goes back to what we were talking about as well, about, you know, getting as close to that thing as you can, that thing that doesn't have words to describe. And of course, people are going to get, you know, different interpretations of that thing, but they all, you know, a bunch of them see it. It's like, they're right here, and the points you're at are like all around it, you know? And it makes me quite happy to see people resonating with that, because that's all I'm trying to do is like take a feeling that I have, take a vibe that I have, and have someone just, you know, pull anything. If it does anything for you, that's the goal. So.
No, I have connected myself, so I think you're doing a great job, my friend.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you.
Dave, you got anything else you want to add up here?
Oh, not right now, man. I think,
I think we're definitely gonna have to have a round two. Definitely.
We'll do this again,
sure.
though.
Yeah, no, I mean, anytime, guys. I would love to. This was a blast. I had a phenomenal time picking your guys' brains and, you know, just kind of talking what I'm about. And again, Jesse, I really appreciate, or both of you, I really appreciate the like, I know Jesse and I are like a bit more familiar with each other, but I really appreciate the opportunity to do this, and, you know, the chance to talk about what I'm all about, and, you know, give me the opportunity to get in front of, you know, a couple more people, and hopefully they, you know, resonate with something that I've done too. So thank you guys. Honestly, thank you
awesome
so much.
Talking to you. It was nice to meet you. Like, you seem like a really good dude.
Thank you.
You got my number, bro. Don't be a stranger. And
for sure.
Make me watch it, man.
I will, man. Well, I mean, dude, once every few weeks, you can fucking expect something else. So, if this goddamn garden song goes through, dude, you can clip the fuck out of this, man.
Home. Let's make this happen. Someone's got to
one,
right?
Yeah. Hey, I'm actually best friends with Garden. Right? Oh, crazy.
You never know.
No, man, that's crazy. Thank you guys so much again.
No, thank you, my friend. Man. Everyone, have a great evening.
Cheers.
Thank you, my friends, for watching the whole episode if you've made it this far. And I want to say thanks to my friend Tommy Graves for making our first episode back such a blast. Don't forget to drop all your comments below if you have any questions. There will be a round 2 with my friend Tommy Graves. You can find all the useful links in the description box. And again, any donations, any contributions to this episode or to any of the links in the description box found from this episode will be donated. Thanks again. See everyone again soon.